Welcome into some Ryco Performance, a Monday night top split action from the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the Concord, North Carolina region. Here I'm Austin Edstrom standing alongside Mark Kalin and Austin Derbyshire behind the production booth as always. Mark, new sight or new face behind the microphone here for GridVision. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, what's going on out there to all you viewers here at Charlotte Motor Speedway? My name's Mark Kalin. You may know me from Race Spot over there with the Precision Racing League, but figured I'd join these boys over here in GridVision tonight for some NASCAR Cup Series action for 100 laps of A-Open entertainment.
Entertainment's a good word. It's going to be a bunch of action out on the racetrack tonight. We know the mile and a halves and the next gen car put on a good show. It's fun on the broadcast, that's for sure. Frustrating behind the wheel, but super fun to watch from the broadcast booth. We've got 24 degrees of banking here in the corners at Charlotte, 5 degrees on the straightaways and down the tri-oval, or quad-oval, I should say. Formerly known as the Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte Motor Speedway here in Concord, North Carolina. Beautiful racetrack, man. I've been to it. It's a ton of fun. Like I said, the next gen car, even in real life, puts on a heck of a show around this place. So I'm looking forward to this race tonight. As we look at the championship standings, the A-Open Series, Garrett Maines up at the top. Pretty commanding lead over Joseph Squared with just, 2 weeks to go in the series. Sean Conklin holding firm onto the third place spot. Alex Murray in fourth. Jacob Schneider in fifth. You can see on down in the championship standings with 2 races remaining.
And in P21, you got Sean Rogers, followed by PB Henry. And several other drivers coming down the list as well there, fighting it out for the championship standings.
We're going to go straight into Mark's keys of the race. Why don't you run us down what you think is going to be important here tonight for the A-Open race from Charlotte?
Well, my keys of the race are going to be to keep your tires under you. That fall off could potentially play a key role in the race itself. Also to stay out of the wall in turn 4. It can sneak up on you late into a run when the tires get hot and greasy. So staying out of the turn 4 wall, minimizing the damage to the car, and ensuring you have the pace to fight for the win of the race, And pit entry. If we happen to get some green flag pit stops tonight, that is going to be critical, as it is very easy to overshoot pit entry or lose the control of the car on the transition of the track to the apron coming off of turn 4 onto pit road. So it can just play a lot of mind games with you there to getting on pit road.
I especially like the avoid the turn 4 wall. I feel like that's going to be a talking point all night long. We're going to move into our broadcast picks to the race, picking one of the pro guys in the field, Keegan Leahy. I think he's going to bring home the checker flag here tonight from Charlotte.
Yeah, I've got my eye on the number 3 of Ray Alfalla there, Austin. So I haven't really caught too many of these races, but maybe first time's going to be the lucky pick for Mr. Ray Alfalla.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with picking a 5-time Coke Series champ. Then we got Austin Derbyshire, our producer, picking Garrett Lowe. He said he knows that Garrett's always been good at Charlotte, so he's got a little bit of inside knowledge there, knowing to pick a maybe heavy hitter here at this racetrack. Still got about 30 seconds left in qualifying. Joshua Watson finishing up his qualifying lap for Team Ryco's. We've got a couple track facts popping up on your screen right now. 86-degree track temp. It's not too hot, and the sun is setting, so expect that to go down. The grip to pick up a little bit as the night goes on.
Yeah, grip always goes up when the sun goes down. That just helps improve cornering speeds and keeps the cars from sliding around too much. So hopefully that'll mean tighter packs and more entertaining racing.
Well, qualifying is over, and we're about to get into the race. So we're going to run down our starting lineup here on the grid. Starting in the first place position for Team Ryco, Garrett Maines with a 28.847. And on his outside, he's got Jacob Schneider starting in the second place spot. On row number 2, we got Joseph Squared with Paul Bergoli on his outside. And then starting in the 5th place spot, we've got Johan Seminario with Clayton Hoffman on his outside in 6th. 7th place is going to be Renato Tamburini. 8th place, Joshua Watson. Ninth is Miller Bonds, and on his outside, rounding out the top 10, is going to be Matt DeCiani.
And starting off in P11, we got Shane Davis with Brendan Heimel starting alongside in P12. Derek Heitman and Alex Murray in 14th, respectively. Andrew Navarro and Brandon Bike in 15th and 16th, respectively. Junior, butcher this name, Junior Barbarima and Sean Conklin in 17th and 18th. And rounding out your top 20 is Brandon Evans and Keegan Leahy.
Yeah, there are definitely some weird names in the A Open. I'm going to give that to you. Nicholas Robin starting in 21st. Ray Alfala in 22nd. Michael Conte is going to be starting in 23rd with Garrett Lowe in 24th. None of those guys putting in any qualifying times. 25th is going to be Jake Matheson with Justin Levine in 26th. Patrick Gator in 27th. Edward Scher Jr. 28th. And JC Nobrega in 29th. That's going to round out your 29 car field here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. I think we're on for a heck of a race. These guys are getting ready to put on an amazing show. I just know it. I mean, we got a lot of heavy hitters in the field tonight. A 6.4K SOF. It's the average here tonight. That's pretty high even for the A Open standards.
Yeah, that's double my oval iRating currently, just over 3,000. But I just noticed a couple of different names I didn't notice before. I got Michael Conti in there, and let's see, who was it? Paul Brigoli. A couple of names I recognize from my time in the Precision Racing League. Michael Conti supplying setups for the private label Team Hype guys in the PRL, and they have been whooping my tail on Sundays in the PRL in the NASCAR Cup Series. So I know he's going to be out there looking to be quick and fight for a win tonight.
Yeah, Conti, a former pro in the iRacing Coca-Cola Series, always puts on a show whenever he comes out. Not too often that we see him out here in the A Open race, but good to have him in here. See what he can do with a couple of his former Coca-Cola Series competitors in the field. Garrett Maidens being one of those at the top step, side by side with his Ryco teammate, Jacob Schneider, as the pace car is taking its one and only trip down the back straightaway as we're getting ready to go green for 100 laps around the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, 100 laps here at Charlotte is really not that long of a time. So these guys are going to be up on the wheel for the most part of this race, trying to fight it out as much as possible, try to get that track position early, because the earlier you get that track position, the better, as the tires do tend to heat up pretty quickly in these cars.
You don't want to completely burn your stuff off, though. You got to be careful. You don't want to push too hard. We saw it a couple weeks ago at Kansas. A couple guys could drive up from the back of the pack to the front, but they went straight back after about 25, 30 laps. Will it be the same here at Charlotte? Will it be the short tire or the short run warriors, or will the long run guys end up pulling this one out? Garrett Maines into the restart zone and to the green flag. And we are green from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Jacob Schneider actually beats him to the line. Going to be pretty close on that restart to getting a black flag, but I think Schneider might have gotten away with that one.
Yeah, it was very close. It looked like Garrett there just a little bit sleeping on the start there. Had to even get a bump from behind to help get going.
Yeah, Garrett not quite as quick to the gas pedal there, putting Schneider in a weird spot. Schneider almost able to challenge her on the outside to take the lead, but not quite enough momentum in that outside line. Getting up to full speed as Garrett Maines taking that tighter radius around turns 1 and 2, and Garrett Maines is up to the race lead, starting from the pole. Not surprising to see Garrett take off from the start, but a little bit of a stack up further behind Johan and Paul Bergoli, getting a little too close for comfort coming out of turn 2.
Yeah, these guys really trying to force the issue early, it seems, right now. And you know, it is a 100-lap race, so I mean, it is a good distance, but you know, for Charlotte, it is basically a short race, being 100 laps. But also seeing some 3-wide action, you know, mid to late pack. But these guys putting on a pretty good show so far early on with only 3 laps on the tires.
Yeah, Miller Bonds really pushing too on the outside of the racetrack, passing Joseph Squared. I don't know why I was talking about Garrett Maines with the race lead. Clayton Hoffman, well, he's pulling away from Garrett Maines up at the front of the field. He is absolutely flying at this point. Maybe pushing a little too hard, seeing him fly out to that big of a gap.
Yeah.
What do you think? I feel like that might be hurting the tires a little too much.
It could be. You know, at the same time, he could be thinking, well, I just need to get away from these guys and get out of the draft. But yeah, I definitely think he's using up a little too much tire this early on in the race, and it could come back to bite him very shortly.
Oh, Brandon Bikey's doing the same thing. He's up from 16th to 3rd, and we saw him do this at Kansas. He went from 19th to 1st, led the first, I don't know, 20 laps after that, and then immediately fell back to 19th as soon as the tires were out. So I definitely think we've got a little bit different tire strategies through the field. A couple people saving, a couple people thinking, okay, I think we're going to get maybe a caution around that 20 lap mark, and we're going to all come down and put on tires. I feel like that's kind of Brandon Bikey's strategy, Clayton Hoffman's strategy, just pulling out to this big of a lead and pulling through the pack. It's a little excessive this early.
Yeah, that was kicking on the afterburners a little early for my liking even. I like to get after it early on, but I don't like to get on it that hard. But, you know, looking at it, it could be a strategy that works out in their favor if they do get a caution around lap 15 or so. Because, you know, about 15, 20 laps on these tires, everybody's going to come down pit road, like you said there, Austin. And so it could play to their favor. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, still a long ways to go.
What's nice for him right now is it kind of gets him out of the mess. Because look at this coming down into turn 1 and 2. I mean, super tight. Sean Conklin almost getting run over in the middle of the corner. Everybody 2 by 2 by 2 all the way through. It's a bit of a mess back here. And well, for Brandon Bikey and Clayton Hoffman up at the front, because they pushed so hard to getting up to the front, they've gotten themselves out of the hornet's nest back here from 4th on back.
Yeah, and it looks like Brandon has passed Garrett for P2, so move him up to P2. So now he's got clean air on the nose of his car, and he might be looking to chase down Clayton there for the overall lead. But Clayton out there with a 1.5 second lead already, so that's going to be a tall task.
Yeah, Clayton's been absolutely flying. I mean, he is in a perfect rhythm up at the front of the field, running really good lap times time and time again. Not really falling off too much. Bikey that lap, losing 1/10 of a second to Clayton Hoffman up in the lead. Bikey having to race for the 2nd place position, though. Garrett Main's not content with riding in the 3rd place spot, looking to the inside, trying to get past Bikey. Probably racing a little bit harder than he even wants to, with Bikey kind of trying to pull this pack along.
Yeah, and right now, I think you're seeing Bikey currently with how excessive he was using those tires as a little bit of a wiggle there for the 45 car off of turn 4. May have gotten a little tap from behind. But yeah, Bikey already passed for P2 there, so move him back down to P3 and move Garrett back up to P2. Bikey's tires may be falling off already.
Well, we're 10 laps in, so just like Fox, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to be right back. Be sure to stay with us. We've got 90 green flag laps of action coming at you. Welcome back to the Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. A lot of action from 2nd on back. Sorry about the quick commercial break. Had to switch some cameras around. We're back to you live with Brandon Bikey and Keegan Leahy switching positions back and forth. Leahy really, really wide in 3 and 4. Looked like Conklin was going to try to get to his inside in the middle of the racetrack. Not able to do it. And Leahy back to the outside of Bikey for the 3rd place spot.
Yeah, Bikey really, I believe, holding up this group of cars. You got the most of the field single file behind them from about 10th on back. But this group around 5th place to 10th, they're really battling out because I believe Bikey's just holding them up that every little bit.
And Bikey might have worn out those tires a little bit too early. I feel like Charlotte is a pretty heavy tire wear. 1.5 miles. Leahy just about loses it on the outside of turn 4. Could have been huge. Instead, it's going to be a stack up on the outside groove, allowing Sean Conklin to get to the inside and allowing Brandon Bikey to get back to the lead of this group. So if he is the one holding them up, he's doing a fine job at it, still in the 3rd place spot. Oh, contact behind.
Yeah, a little bit of door banging going on there off of turn 2. They managed to keep it together moving forward. Tight quarters action here at Charlotte Motor Speedway this evening.
Oh, Schneider's a little loose on the inside of the racetrack. Leahy on the outside. Garrett Lowe chooses to go with Leahy to the outside of Schneider. Down into turns 1 and 2. Leahy really committed to the outside of the racetrack. It's going to end up being 3 wide. Jacob Schneider still all the way on the bottom side of the racetrack. Garrett Lowe trying to make it a 2-for-1 on the exit of turn number 2, and he's going to do it with the run down the back straightaway. Was looking like he was going to look to the inside of Bikey. Thinks better of it. Commits to the outside of the racetrack, and Garrett Lowe still looking for more on the outside of 3 and 4 of Brandon Bikey. Power moves out of Garrett Lowe with Leahy in the wall.
There's that wall I talked about there, Austin, off of turn 4. It looked like it got Leahy just a little bit there.
And I got to think he's not going to be the last one, right? I mean,
there's
no way. There's no way. We're only 15 laps into this thing. That's a pro making that mistake. I think we're going to see plenty of more of these guys do it, especially as the tires wear out. A couple of these guys running hard. Brandon Bikey looked like he might have gotten the back of Jacob Schneider there. Couldn't quite tell. They both had a little bit of a check up through 3 and 4. Puts Bikey on the back foot. Brendan Himmel to his outside, taking the spot. Ray Alfala to his outside as well.
Yeah, the one thing they got going for them, if they do hit the wall there, not too bad. The bodies are pretty strong, so not likely to get a lot of body damage, but you got to be careful about breaking a tie rod.
And that was a late block from Brandon Bikey on Alfala down the back straightaway. Able to fit in the hole, but it was maybe a little closer than he meant it to be. Yeah, Bikey back to the 7th place spot.
Alfala did not want to lift out of that.
Yeah, it looked like Bikey was giving him the outside groove. Didn't end up happening, but they're 3 wide further back. Leahy stuck in the middle. Michael Conti on the outside. Conti's going to power around him and Shane Davis.
Yeah, Conti. I'm sorry, Austin. Didn't mean to step on you there.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Conti, one of those drivers that did not set a time, started back in 23rd, currently sitting in P13, just gradually making his way up through the field.
And I feel like that's the way to do it, right? We've got a lot of guys up at the front that power that power move their way to the front, and we've got a couple that are starting to trickle towards the front that save their stuff, and they're just, kind of making it a slow and methodical march as they just about wreck down the back straightaway. Brandon Bikey now stuck in the middle of 3 wide with Conti on the outside again.
Oh, Conti with a little bit of a wiggle there coming towards the exit of turn 4 there. Managed to keep it gathered up. But yeah, being in these top split races, I've been in a couple of them there, Austin, and they can be a crapshoot of cautions every now and then too. You never know what you're going to get sometimes. But so far, everyone keeping it clean and pointed in the correct direction. And it's making for some really exciting racing, Austin.
Yeah, you're not kidding. This has been great. For everywhere from 3rd on back has just been a minefield of race cars back here.
Oh.
Dicing it up. A couple through the grass, it looks like. Somebody back up onto the racetrack, entering the 2nd dog leg.
I believe that was Shane Davis.
Yeah, luckily we've got the AstroTurf here instead of grass, because that could have been a whole lot bigger. Somebody losing it through there. Garrett Lowe just about loses it off of turn number 2. Alex Murray checks up for him, but that was close.
Yeah, you can definitely see now with the way the cars are reacting, the tire grip is starting to go low on these cars. They're getting hot and greasy. They're slipping and sliding around, twitching off the corner exits. It's right about that magic time where these cars start to become a real handful for these drivers.
It's going to be off of 4, like you said, because they're still running hard. Oh, contact out of 2. But it's going to be out of 4, like you said, because everybody's still running 100%, and they're getting to be 2 and 3 wide multiple times around this racetrack, and turn 4 is just way too tight whenever the tires start going. It's going to happen at some point. I mean, they are racing so hard coming out of that corner every single time. Just about guys bouncing fenders. Able to keep it clean so far, though.
Yeah, in turn 4, it's an interesting corner because it's deceptively tight on the exit. You don't feel like you're going to have an issue midway through the corner, but then all of a sudden it just starts to tighten up a little bit, and then you maybe have to lift a little to make that exit without hitting the wall. And so it's really deceiving to these drivers after a while, because you get a little what's the word I'm looking for? You get a little worn out with gripping the wheel so hard that you don't focus completely, and you lose track of where you are on the track, and that's what can get you into trouble with that turn 4 wall.
Man, it's crazy the line of race cars that we've got around the outside of turns 1 and 2 further back. It looks like one of those old school Talladega races where you just got the train on the outside of the racetrack. Oh, spinner just about through 3 and 4. Is that Joshua Watson just hanging on?
That was a heck of a save there, Austin. Almost lost it in front of a big gaggle of cars. That could have been ugly.
It still might be. He's still stuck in the middle here. Oh, somebody in the fence on the outside. Can't quite tell. It was Brandon Evans in that bright yellow car that struck the outside fence.
Yeah,
on the outside of Joshua
there.
Watson. Still 3 wide behind him. Patrick Gator on the inside. Levine in the middle. Able to sort it out to 2 wide before we come out of the corner.
Oh.
But Brandon Evans finds the fence again and gets a bump from Levine on the outside.
And that was a hard contact into turn 4 wall there. He may have a little bit of cosmetic damage. That's only going to make him go a little slower.
Oh, still tough racing all throughout the field. And we're 26 laps into this run, and they're still all packed up. 15th on back. My word. And it's going to tighten. Oh, somebody in the wall for about, I believe it might have been Alex Murray. I think he found the fence out of turn 4. Pretty heavy hit. Still 3 wide entering turn number 1 further back. I mean, these guys they don't stop racing, man. This has been nuts from the drop of the green flag.
Yeah, honestly, this has been a lot more, heavy hitting than I thought it was going to be as far as, people going for it and, not holding back. I figured people were going to try and save their tires a lot more than what I'm seeing, and it just isn't the case so far.
Conti to the inside of Al Falla up towards the front for the 4th place spot. Michael Conti going to take it through turns 1 and 2, be sliding up in front of Ray on the exit of the corner. Alfala just going to commit to pushing him down the back straightaway, not willing to fight it, and maybe give Brandon Bikey another chance, which I'm surprised Brandon Bikey's still hanging on up here. I thought he pushed the heck out of those tires. Still hanging on to the 6th place spot, to the inside of Alfala for 5th. Not able to do it. Now Sean Conklin's going to find his right rear, pull him back, and now Conklin's going to fight him for the 6th place spot.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Austin. I thought Brandon would have torn those tires to shreds, but he is hanging up there in the top 10, doing a really good job. After pushing really hard, really early.
Someone who might have torn his tires to shreds, Clayton Hoffman, up at the front. 0.3 slower than our 2nd place driver last time by. And that gap is shrinking. Every single corner it is coming down. He's going to plummet through this field. I mean, he's going to be a roadblock, moving chicane through the corners. Going to be tough for a lot of guys to get by him. It'll feel like they're trying to get past a slow lap car with how fast they're catching them.
Yeah, it's going to make for some tricky situations as these guys are on lap 30 currently. I'd expect pit stops to happen in about 20 laps, maybe split it dead center in the half. But, yeah, it's going to cause some chaos with Clayton being a little bit off pace currently.
Most of the field has single filed out. First side-by-side battles back for the 16th place spot. Keegan Leahy on the inside of Miller Bonds. Justin Levine just in front of these 2 guys. It's still pretty hairy in the back of the field. I mean, they're still 2 wide all throughout, going 3 wide at times. But up towards the front, top 15 spots seem to have kind of sorted itself out. Everybody's on, kind of figured out what their tires are doing at this point in the run. I think Leahy might be nursing some damage from getting in the fence earlier. Still falling back through the pack. But everybody in front of him, they look to kind of be settled into their spots. As soon as I say that, Miller Bonds gets to the inside of Levine, right in front of him, for the 15th place spot. Bonds trying to work around him, down on the inside. Not going to be able to do it, though. Levine powers back on the outside. It's going to be close for the lead here.
Sorry, go ahead. Got really tight 3 wide back there in the middle of 3 and 4 currently, between Brandon on the outside. A couple of drivers. Oh, they door each other, all 3 of them. Managed to keep it going. Still 3 wide into turn 1. Sliding
Brandon
up the track.
Evans. This is great. They ended up making it work through 1 and 2. Brandon Evans on the outside, losing out. Joshua Watson falls back with him, but man, I'm telling you, they're racing hard. Doesn't matter what position they're racing for. They're going for it. Garrett Maines has gotten past Clayton Hoffman on the outside of 3 and 4 for the race lead. And Clayton Hoffman is just going to fall throughout this pack, man. He is, now that he doesn't even have the clean air, He's going to be hurting.
Oh yeah, we saw Hoffman there, just got past, getting past right now for P2. Move him back to P3. Michael Conti move him up to P2. Clayton sends it in down low in turn 3. But Conti with the run on the outside, going to be able to get the job done easily.
Conklin about lost it out of turn number 4. Got crazy loose. Clayton Hoffman is starting his tumble through the field. Ray Alfalo looking to be the next one to get through. Hoffman throws it up to the outside, giving the dirty air to Alfalo, allowing Jacob Schneider to get to the inside. Coming out of the corner, Schneider, though, almost looks like he lifts down the back straightaway, giving Alfalo a chance. Alfalo just pushes Hoffman down into the corner. Hoffman running the middle. Not really much in it. I figured these guys would have a little bit of an easier time getting by him, but Hoffman's holding strong so far.
Yeah, he's doing a great job there, sitting in P4, or excuse me, P3. Just you know, not doing anything crazy, not blocking, just kind of running his line, letting people work their way around him. So, you know, he's being predictable, which is what you need to do when you've burnt your tires up.
Yeah, whenever you kind of sucker the guys behind you into fighting for a spot between themselves, it kind of buys you some time, right? I feel like these guys getting side by side behind him has bought him some time. Not no more. Not anymore.
They're going to go 3 wide into turn 1.
Yeah, he gets sucker hole down into the middle on the old tires. Alfalo on the outside. He's going to get it done.
That was a brilliant move from all 3 of those drivers right there to keep it clean going through turns 1 and 2, 3 wide. Fantastic racing.
Great move from Alfalo getting that move done on the outside. Sucks for him that he loses out to Schneider. He maybe waited a little bit too long for the move. Still ends up losing out on the spot with the guy that was behind him beforehand. So kind of frustrating for him, but he disposes of Hoffman, who is now under fire from Conklin, Bikey, Nicholas Roman from further back in the pack. All these guys kind of starting to bubble up towards the front of the field.
Yeah, the surprising thing for me is that these guys aren't more spread out than they are. So I completely expected them to be a lot more spread out, but you've got small little packs here and there, 4, 5, 6 cars here and there, and they're all putting on pretty good shows.
Conklin really throwing a bit of a block down into turn 1, not allowing Bikey to have any air. Nicholas Roman getting a spot from Bikey. Now he is pushing Conklin down the straightaway, trying to attack the guy on the worn tires, Clayton Hoffman. Conklin, though, might have driven in a little bit too deep, got too much dirty air. Now Nicholas Roman to his outside, and Roman from the 21st place spot, up into 6th. Great run here from Roman so far, not even halfway.
Yeah, just now completing lap 40 of this run. I'd expect to see pit stops here in the next 10 laps or so.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of who does the undercut, who does the overcut. Roman throwing the slider on Hoffman on the exit of turn number 4, kind of letting that thing walk up the racetrack. Roman continuing his march to the front. Conklin trying to throw a block on Bikey behind. Bikey to his outside through 1 and 2. Hoffman goes low, blocks off the run from Conklin. Roman goes way high through 1 and 2. It looks like Conklin's going to win out, try to use his momentum to perhaps get a run on Hoffman, but Bikey's going to look to his inside instead. Navarro might have just pinged his car off the fence coming out of turn number 2. Oh, out of turn number 4, does it again. Rough lap there for Andrew Navarro.
Got another 3 wide battle with a car in the wall. That's Alex Murray. Almost comes down to clips Joseph there in front of him. Really fortunate he did not clip that right rear.
Yeah, that was some tight 3 wide battle, and further back, Murray not going to be happy with that one. I thought he was going to come off the fence and get himself a little bit of payback, but he thought better of it. Now stuck in a side-by-side battle with his teammate. I believe that's Derek Heitman on the inside. Oh, it's tightened up at the front, hadn't it? Garrett Maines, Michael Conti, Jacob Schneider under a blanket. The top 3 have found each other. And we got a race up at the front. Schneider down to the inside of Conti through 3 and 4.
Conti able to fend off the attack from the driver behind with that run from the outside off turn 4, and going to make a move into turn 1 on your leader, Garrett Maines. Is he going to clear him off of turn 2?
Run. He did not have a good run out of 3 and 4 at all. Opened up the door for Conti, and he took it. Maines not looking to make a move back on the inside of 3 and 4. Just pushes Conti along the straightaway. I can't believe he didn't go back for it, but Maines trying to mount up one more charge coming out of turn number 4. Doesn't look like he's going to have a run.
No, I think this battle is over. I think Conti's just going to walk away with it now, and keep our eye on Schneider there to see if he makes a move on Garrett for P2 here soon.
Yeah, I thought Conti might have been out of it with Schneider looking to his inside. I thought it was going to maybe delay a run, but instead it just put Conti to the outside of 3 and 4, got him a huge run out of the corner. And Maines had a sub-average, honestly, for his standards, 3 and 4, and pushed off the corner, just about knocked the fence down, and gave a huge run to Michael Conti, and ended up taking it. Mikey a little bit further back. Is he struggling? Is he starting to fall back?
He had a little issue off of turn 4 and went through the AstroTurf again, where the oval chicane is.
So Mikey's starting to fall back, looking at a replay to see exactly what happened. Just lost it over the hump. Out of turn 4. Not too bad. Doesn't have any damage on that thing, so he should be okay. But I think that might be a sign that his tires are maybe gone.
Yeah, those rears are definitely a little hot now. As Joseph riding the wall in turns 1 and 2 in front of this little pack of cars.
Ooh, in the fence. Who's that a little bit further back? Mikey was in it with another couple guys. I think it might have been Derek Heitman on his outside now. Paul Bergoli up here too, getting close out of turn number 4 between Mikey and Heichman.
Got our first taker for a pit stop here, and that is going to be Shane Davis.
Starting to see the strategies come into play. Undercut from Shane Davis. Going to have to see how that works out for him after everybody else comes down and makes their pit stops, whether we get a caution or not too. A couple little dicey racing packs that we've got through the field right now. That yellow flag could still come out. So we see Vroman taking another spot. This time off of Ray Alfala coming out of 4, maybe a little wide for the 95. Ray Alfala with the cutback coming out of the corner, and he's going to retake that spot.
It was a great move from Ray Alfala. Just watching this this gaggle of cars back in the mid pack here around P13 or so, and just every once in a while, someone will go up and ride that third lane into the corner and just slide up into the wall and bounce off of it. These tires are definitely extra greasy right now. They're just
seems like
for a pit stop.
It seems like you don't want to give up that outside groove, so I think people are trying to get to their, like, somebody in front of their outside and like wrap it around the corner, and there's just not enough grip to make it work. It seems like whenever you get stuck down on the bottom of the racetrack, you can just get freight trained after the tires wear out. We've seen a lot of guys go down to the bottom and lose some spots, so I think they're fighting for the top side of the racetrack.
I'd agree with you there, Austin, as I hear Paul Bergoli calling for a pit stop here. He is coming down pit road.
Right at the halfway point, completing lap 50 for Paul.
And he's going to bring Leahy, sorry, I don't know how to say his name, Leahy, with him into the pit stops.
Vroman gets the spot from Alfala this time. Clayton Hoffman's done a good job hanging on to 6 after sliding on his tires earlier. I'm kind of surprised he hang on to 6th place that well with how far out he drove from everybody, but credit to him in the 6th place position. Vroman really wide through 3 and 4 again, giving Alfala a chance to come off of the corner with a run. Gets all the way to the back bumper of the 95, but I don't think he's really going to be able to be close enough to make any serious dive. Down into turn number 1, Clayton Hoffman all over his back bumper. Alfala having to go defensive to the outside of the racetrack. Vroman chasing him up. Sean Conklin coming down pit road.
You know, I'm really surprised, though, as far as the leaders are concerned, that Michael Conti has not just driven away from those two following him, being Garrett Maines and Schneider there in 2nd and 3rd. But they are keeping pace with him right on his rear bumper.
Well, you got to think the draft does play a little bit of a role into it, right? You can hang on it, and you can run different lanes here at Charlotte. There's a couple different grooves you can run in to keep your momentum up, to maybe keep yourself in the game. And I think we're seeing that out of Garrett Maines and Jacob Schneider, also teammates working together. So they're not going to really fight each other and drag each other back. So I think that there might be a little bit of gamesmanship there, them two helping each other out, keeping the minute, get that pit stop, get a little bit of a adjustment from behind the pit wall, and come out and see if you're any faster.
Yeah, as we got some more cars taken down to pit road here. Looks like
Bikey coming down, Garrett Lowe coming down. Michael Conti's still out on the racetrack running that low line out of turn 2. Garrett Maines, Jacob Schneider, all of a sudden side by side coming out of turn number 2. I guarantee you that's not in the playbook. Garrett Maines heating way. Jacob Schneider way high on the exit of turn number 4. Ooh. He stays out. Garrett Maines and Michael Conti coming down.
Oh, Conti may have gotten a little close to speeding there. And got a black flag showing for Jake Matheson.
Super most close likely, to the line for Conti and Maines.
Yeah, very close indeed. Yeah, pit road here is it's very tricky to get on.
Yeah, and you're trying to push it for everything it's got to, right? You know, it's not like you're just moseying on down there and taking your time. You're fighting to get that thing off the racetrack, slowed down right in time. Whenever these guys do it right, man, it's a sight to see. And Conti and Maines both diving it down to the pit road. Really nice getting their pit stops done, coming back out on the racetrack. No penalties to report for either of those guys, but they make it look close.
Yeah, and you can't just mosey on around like you said, Austin. You got to fight for every second. You got to get in there hard because you know, that's a good time for people to make time on you, or it's a good time for you to lose time by either taking it too easy or messing it up too.
Joseph Square just about losing it out of turn 4, I'm hearing. Seems to be okay. Coming down through 1 and 2. Looking back on it, he's fighting with Andrew Navarro. Yeah, it was kind of close. They're fighting pretty hard for what's now the 3rd place spot. If a caution flag does fly, everybody on the racetrack kind of benefits a little bit. Conti and Conklin and Garrett Maines will all have to take the wave. But instead, Jacob Schneider's going to come down pit road. Hand over the lead to Nicholas Froman.
Yeah, just staying out a few extra laps, trying to get that little bit of tire advantage for later in the race. Have a little bit fresher tires towards the last few laps. We'll have to wait and see if that plays out for him. But
well, you never know. If that yellow flag comes out, all these guys cycle back to the front.
Yeah, that's true. As here comes your early race leader, Clayton, down pit road. He's able to get it woed down, no issues there.
Conti is flying through these guys on the old tires at the front of the field. I mean, it's a sight to see. He is dicing through them up to the back bumper of the 3 leaders.
Oh, where's he going to go here? They're 3 wide. And there's the yellow.
What in the world is that timing? Conti pulling down to the inside to unlap himself. But the caution flag flies. So he's going to be stuck behind everybody alongside Garrett Maines, Sean Conklin, Brandon Himmel, Garrett Lowe, Keegan Leahy, all these guys who have come down pit road, now trapped a lap down, having to take the wave around or the lucky dog. Oh, what a turn of events.
Let's see. Looking through my my list here to see where the caution is.
Oh, it's Jacob Schneider on the inside of turns 1 and 2, lap 58. Slides it sideways. Doesn't spin all the way out, but the yellow flag flew.
And that's a wild one there, Austin, because that was down on the apron off the racing line.
I guess it thought he was going to come back up the racetrack. I mean, this is... Oh, that's a tough one.
It looked like he clipped the transition between the apron and the track, exiting pit road, and that's what sent him around.
Well, we're going to go ahead and take our second commercial break of the evening while we're under caution. Be sure to stick with us. We're going to have it to the checkered flag whenever we come back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Ryco Performance's Monday Night Top Split on the grid from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's been a heck of a race so far. Just got caught in the middle of green flag pit stops with a yellow flag. Kind of throwing that one for a loop. That's why you're seeing so many cars getting wove around the pace car. Everybody from 8th on back to 28th, getting themselves back onto the lead lap. 27th, I'm sorry, Alex Murray seems to be stuck behind it. Must have taken a trip down pit road. But nonetheless, it's been a pretty hectic one. Now we've got a couple different tire strategies, a couple different guys up at the front of the field that have benefited, and a couple hungry guys that either took the lucky dog or took the wave around. Michael Conti, Garrett Maines, and well, the guy who spun. How is that? Lost my or I've lost who spun, but
Jacob Schneider.
Schneider. Thank you. My word, I cannot believe I forgot Jacob Schneider. But our starting grid's looking a little funny here. But all those guys are going to be looking hungry to get back up to the lead, but it's going to be tough. A lot of them are sprinkled in between a bunch of different lap cars. It's a little weird back here with the waves.
Yeah, you're going to have 3 rows of side-by-side as we come to the green flag, and everybody else single file.
Well, Andrew Navarro is going to lead us off. Coming back to the green flag, Nicholas Roman on his outside after a round of pit stops. Ray Alfala with a jump on the inside. Little nervy moment. Oh, and a lot of guys jumping the restart on the outside. It was that way on the outside of the quad oval, just coming in at full speed, picking up 5 spots.
Kyle Busch, anybody?
That was a lot back there. I don't know who the heck that was, but that was, we'll call it ingenious.
And we're going to get a little 35-lap shootout here to end the night. Nobody's going to be saving tires for this run, that's for sure.
Now, you would have really thought that with it being a single-file restart, we would have a little bit more single-file racing right afterwards, but we've already cycled out to 2x2 from 3rd on back, right? I mean, we've got 1 car of single-file in that little first group, and everybody else trying to make moves.
Yeah, they're not wasting any time. They got to try and make up those positions, especially the guys that got caught out with that yellow flag during the green flag pit stops, and they got to try and get back to the front as quick as possible.
I think Conklin might have found the fence out of 4. Looking at a replay here of Ray Alfala on the inside of 1 and 2. Hugging that line tight, drifting up through the center of the corner. Little tight on exit for him, losing some spots. They're freight training him on the outside.
Oh,
seems like the inside's just not the place to be, man.
It looks like the 45, I believe. Or the 69, maybe, Ray Alfala.
Yeah, Alfala's still struggling. Stuck on the outside of the 20. Is that Joseph Squared on the inside now, trying to pick up the spot. But like I said, I just feel like you don't want to be on the inside. They can just freight train you on the outside, as Clayton Hoffman is all over the back bumper of Ray Alfala, pushing him through. And Joseph Squared, who looked like he was going to go up a spot, ends up going backwards 1, maybe 2, as Garrett Lowe gets to his outside.
Yeah, you can definitely easily get freight trained on that high side, but the other side of that coin is the high side will burn your tires off a little bit quicker too.
Michael Conti trying to make the outside work for the 3rd place spot. Joshua Watson hanging on to it, trying to fend off for his teammate Vroman. Andrew Navarro up at the front. Conti, though, he was just so fast at the end of the last run. You got to think he might have been holding a little bit back at the very beginning of the run. He was able to take the lucky dog this time able to put on new tires, so he should be on even tires with everybody else that came down pit road. And he's flying through the field, up to side-by-side with third place, Joshua Watson.
Yeah, sticking it on the outside, coming off of turn 2. Going to be side-by-side, door-to-door. Coming up behind second place there of Roman. Going to keep it on the high side. Use that momentum to try and catch down P2. The high side seems to be working for Conti right now.
Oh, yeah, he's got the run on the inside of Roman. Where the heck did that come from? Michael Conti is flying to the front of the field, to the inside of Nicholas Roman, easily taking the second place position. I mean, Michael Conti is absolutely moving through the field.
Wasting no time indeed, Austin. He says, time to go. Got to get out there. I think his game plan is to get out in the front and just drive away and keep everybody in the rear view.
Well, it's looking like that's going to pay off. He's looking pretty nice all over the back bumper of Andrew Navarro now. I think passing for the race lead might be a little bit more difficult. Navarro with the clean air advantage. But, man, Conti has just looked so good at the beginning of this run. How long can Navarro hang on?
Well, that'll be the million-dollar question as we look back further in the field. Mostly single file, occasional 2x2. Got Joseph still running that inside lane. Looks like Jacob Schneider on his outside there. The gentleman that brought out the yellow flag, unfortunately.
Yeah, Schneider trying to work his way back up after having that issue on pit exit. Weird little half spin that just happened to bring out the yellow flag. Probably didn't deserve one, but we got one anyway. He's trying to make up for that mistake, get back up through the field, working his way into the top 15. Up to the 12th place spot, I believe, for Schneider. Up towards the front, though, Navarro is actually starting to stretch his gap out. I think he saw Conti coming in his mirror, and I think he started driving a little harder.
Yeah, Navarro has definitely picked up the pace a little bit. The gap is now up to 3.5 tenths. I also wonder if Conti's maybe just, decided to take it a little easy so far and try to manage his tire wear just a little bit.
Yeah, he knows he's already up here. He's done the dirty work. He's done the hard stuff. Now just save your tires a little bit. You know how good you were on the long run from seeing it in the first stint. So just kind of bide your time and let it happen, I suppose, right? He's not really pushing the issue at this point.
Ooh, Alfalo with a big wiggle clipping that curb in turns 1 and 2. Really great job to manage to save that car.
Coming to 26 laps to go, not much time left to sort this one out. Who's it going to be at the front of the field? Andrew Navarro, Michael Conti, Nicholas Roman. I mean, all of them looking quick. All of them probably looking to be treating their tires a little bit different, I'd say. I think Roman was hard saving from the beginning. Conti kind of pushed to get the track position, and now he's saving, and I don't really think Navarro is saving too much. I think he's out there trying to hold on to the race lead. But they're battling a little bit further back.
Yeah, about 13th on back. There's nobody saving anything back there. They're all no holds bar, bumping and banging, getting into the wall, slipping and sliding. They're doing everything they can to make every position they can.
Yeah, Patrick Gator on the outside of Joseph squared. Joseph dives it down deep into turn 1. He takes the spot. Patrick Gator just having to cycle in behind. Heitman right in front of Joseph. It's mostly single filed out. Another battle way further back in the field for about 20th. But other than that, a lot of single file running. I do think we're starting to see people save their tires a little bit just to get them to the end of this run. I think they know, okay, we've settled into our spots where we're going to be running for this run after the restart, and I think they're starting to buy just take their time. Except for up for the race lead, Michael Conti. As soon as we're saying that, Michael Conti is taking the race lead away from Andrew Navarro, coming through 1 and 2.
Well, dang it, Michael, you're making us look bad up here.
That was out of nowhere. I feel like he was a good 4 tenths back. We stopped talking about him, and coming off of 4, gets a big run, and I guess Navarro just couldn't do anything to hang on.
Well, it looked like Navarro got a little bit loose on the exit there. That's what allowed Conti to get that big run. And
Navarro is stuck in a side-by-side fight now for second with Nicholas Roman. Maybe wrecking down the back. Sean Conklin turned back up towards the field in the outside groove. They ends up making contact. Conklin almost stops on the outside. It's going to be huge.
Goodness.
Huge accident coming down to 3 and 4. Sean Conklin goes barrel rolling up into the outside wall and back down the banking.
I think we can skip the ambulance and just go ahead and send out the hearse because he dead.
That was a biggin. Who's that got into him? Is that Garrett Lowe?
I'm not sure
Oh,
what he was
man.
thinking by just stopping there. He definitely could have kept going, but instead he decides to stop.
Oh, is that Matt DiCiani that hit him? Johan Seminario on the inside. And Conklin goes barrel rolling. Well, that was a big one. That was the big one for Charlotte.
Oh man, this is going to set up a 20-lap shootout. Maybe a 15, 16-lap shootout after we get green again. Everybody's going to come down and take tires. Do we see anyone roll the dice and stay out?
I don't think so. I think everybody's going to come down pit road. I'm seeing one guy stay out, but I feel like that's probably a lap car.
I'm thinking you might be right. Yeah, that's Alex Murray that's on the track. It was the lucky dog. He is past the pace car and getting his lap back.
Then everybody coming down, taking 4 fresh tires. We can kind of use this moment to shout out Ryco Performance for all that they do. At Ryco Performance, we're more than a setup shop. We're a performance provider preparing you weekly with data and setups to get you ahead of the curve of the competition. Whether you're a seasoned sim racer or a weekend warrior, our cutting-edge data packs and one-on-one coaching sessions are tailor-made to push the limits of yourself and your virtual race car, giving you the winning edge that you crave. Why should you choose Ryco? Well, we have expert craftsmanship by a team of seasoned builders, cutting-edge performance enhancements tailored to your vehicle, and unrivaled coaching and reliability to handle the most demanding circuits on the iRacing platform. For more information, visit us at ryco-motorsports.com, where we build champions and deliver results. That's ryco-motorsports.com. A big thank you to Ryco Performance for allowing us to put on this show every single Monday night and Friday night for the Ryco Performance Friday Night NIS Open. Always a fun time, and we'll be broadcasting, I believe, second split for that big race on Friday night. All 400 laps for the Coca-Cola 600. I will be there. That will be a long 5 hours. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, that's going to be a long night up in the booth. Bring your snacks and drinks there, Austin.
No kidding. I'm buying a mini fridge for this occasion to put right next to my desk. I should. I really should.
Yeah, it didn't look like we had any gamblers out there for 2 tires, no tires. It's going to be Michael Conti resuming the lead. And yeah, we're gonna see some chaos here, Austin, as we dwindle down the laps. Probably going to be about 15-ish laps to go when we get the green flag. And at that point, it's going to be no holds bar. Take what you can, give nothing back.
Yeah, and I feel like we're going to get a lot more guys in this, right? Like, I feel like Garrett Maines was kind of out of it because he was on a little bit older tires. Now that he's on the same stuff as Conti, I feel like he's got a chance again. Navarro, I feel like he had started to wear out his stuff. But now that we're on the short run, Navarro is right back in this thing. Even further down, Clayton Hoffman. We saw how quick he was on a short run earlier. Clayton Hoffman from 4th place could be the guy to watch.
Yeah, it could be. It could be anyone in this top 10. Heck, even Ray Alfala back there in P11. He could come up through the field and surprise us. But, I mean, everybody's going to be running 100% for these 20 laps or 15 laps or whatever laps it is to the finish. And so it's going to be tough for anyone to try and make a move and get a pass done.
This is going to be a fun one. We're going to have 18 laps to go whenever we end up going racing. This time we'll actually have a 2x2 restart, so that'll be nice. Not really, not any waiver rounds to talk about. Luckily, just the one. Jake Matheson getting his lap back from 27th, so not too much of a tail on this field. Single file line. We're going to have a nice normal restart with Conti leading the way on the inside.
Well, in the words of the great Darrell Waltrip, pull those belts tight one more time.
You say one more time, but we're probably going to have about 5 more of these.
That is definitely in the cards.
Now that we've gotten the caution and we're at the end of the race, that's typically whenever we start getting people doing some crazy stuff.
Yeah, you're right there, Austin. That's for sure.
I don't know if we're going to have too much taking care of each other for the last 18 laps of this thing.
Let's see, how many green light checkers do they get in this series? 3?
Just one.
Or is it just the one? Okay.
So we won't be here all night. So we're good on that. But we do have another race after this.
Yes. Just a reminder to all you folks out there watching, we do have the B-Class Xfinity cars coming up next after this, which are my personal favorite stock cars to drive on the service.
Agreed. I'm right there with you. I love the B car. These things are a little bit more annoying to drive, but man, they put on a good show on the broadcast, and we're about to get a heck of a last 18 laps. I can tell you that right now. Michael
100%.
Conti leading us back to the green flag. Andrew Navarro on his outside. Garrett Maines now with even tires up with him. Clayton Hoffman in fourth. But we're back to the green flag. Michael Conti back to the lead. Navarro dives down to the inside to protect the second place spot. And Garrett Maines is just going to have to settle for third.
And they're off to the races. Conti leading the way. Navarro quickly dove down into P2, or behind Conti into P2. And it is a hornet's nest behind them.
Yeah, Garrett Lowe just cut the nose off of Brandon Bikey through turn 3. Really hurt Bikey's center of the corner. They start stacking up behind him. And now they might be 3 wide coming down to turn 1. Nicholas Roman on the outside. Joshua Watson now down to the middle as Lowe clears both of them and up to the top side of the racetrack for the 6th place spot. Up towards the top, though, Garrett Maines has taken P2 away already. Made it look easy around Andrew Navarro.
Yeah, I think Navarro got into the wall. That's what I'm hearing. And almost got rear-ended there by the driver to his inside in that red car. They are 3 wide now for P4, or excuse me, P3. And that is bringing everyone behind them up to him.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be super tight coming out of turn number 2. Everybody behind him starting to coordinating up. Clayton Hoffman on the outside trying to get the run. He's going to get side drafted by Navarro, though. It cycles out to 2 wide before we get down into turns 3 and 4. Hoffman still using the very, very outside of the racetrack, maybe opening the door up for Garrett Lowe to make it 3 wide again. Hoffman finds the fence. Lowe finds the position.
And they are ducking and weaving every which way, Austin. It is insanity out there. I don't know who to follow. It's also exciting.
Garrett Lowe just tries to slide Andrew Navarro through 1 and 2. Doesn't work out. Schneider sideways towards the back of the pack. Able to hang on to it, find his place back in line. Garrett Lowe up towards the front, still trying to find 3rd place. Drives it out onto the exit of turn 4, uses the banking to keep that car stable, and he moves up to the 3rd place spot. Close move over Andrew Navarro. He makes it work, and Navarro's pushing him down the front straightaway, trying to get them both up to Garrett Maines and Michael Conti for the race lead.
Yeah, that was a heck of a bump draft down the quad oval there for Navarro into Lowe. That really did gain and help them gain on Conti and Maines up ahead.
Still racing hard further back. Oh, but towards the front, Garrett Maines has gotten to the inside of Michael Conti. Conti in the fence. Going to come down and side draft Maines. They make contact at the line. Completely stalls Garrett Maines' momentum. Contact again coming down to turn number 1. Garrett Maines drives it in deep to take the position. Tries to slide Conti on exit. He's going to stack him up, and Garrett Lowe's going to come to the inside.
Oh, more contact as Navarro and Conti make contact. Or Lowe, that is, excuse me. Sorry, I'm not familiar with these drivers. I'm learning as we go here, folks.
Oh, Garrett Lowe just
wrecking in the back off of turn 4.
Oh, they're going to keep it straight, aren't they? One of them slides down to the inside of the racetrack, comes
and there's
back
the
out.
yellow.
What a power move from Garrett Lowe. My word. J.R. Borborema coming off of turn number 4. Gets into it with Alex Murray. Murray just kind of clips his left rear, tries to slow up for him. Guys behind him don't really get on the brakes quite as hard, and unfortunately collects another driver coming through.
Looked like a little bit of ghost contact there. Really unfortunate for those drivers, but gosh, that was some good racing up there at the front there, Austin.
It really was, man. Garrett Lowe, what a move to get to the inside of both those guys to take the race lead.
Poof.
Man, that sucks for Brandon. That's a tough one. Had nothing to do with it. But you're taken out, and that's a heavy hit to a vulnerable part of the race car, right? Hitting the right rear, knocking out the suspension. That's never going to do you any good.
Here's a replay of the move for the lead right here as the yellow came out. Garrett just making the power move into turn 3. Slides up in front of Maines.
Just takes the racetrack, man. I mean, he didn't even give him any room to work with. Some expert driving from from Garrett Lowe there to take the race lead away from Maines in that manner. Maines and Conti getting a racing. Gives Lowe the opportunity from third, and man, you got to use the momentum whenever you get it in these race cars. Is anybody going to come down and put on that last set of tires?
Looks like we're going to get one taker.
And a good chunk towards the back of the field, but I don't know if those guys are going to sniff the top 5. There's just not enough laps left. Working lap number 91, 10 laps to go. Probably 8 whenever we go back racing, if not less. So it's just not really going to be enough time for those guys to really find their way to the front of the field.
No, but there could be a big wreck with the green-white checkered involved, so it's possible they could make up a decent amount of positions, but I doubt they'll be battling for the win.
That's a good point. It's always so tough to know. You never know if it's possible until the impossible happens.
Exactly.
Well, I think we're in for a heck of a finish. That was a great little run we had there. Lead interchanging a bunch of different ways, kind of showing the different heavy hitters we got up towards the front. I feel like Vroman was kind of saving his tires back in 5th, and now this restart has pulled him back up to these guys. So perhaps it could be beneficial for Vroman getting the time back for free. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's just wait and see. I'm sure whatever we get will be a wonderful thing, Austin, because these drivers have put on some fantastic racing so far this evening.
I feel like we have one too many pace laps here, man. So every caution feels like it's just one lap too long. Like, I'm ready to go racing. I am ready. Let's get the green flag back.
And these drivers are ready too. They're already double filed, ready to go.
And that was 3 to green. We still have 2 more laps.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
lights
my
on
word.
The pace car are still on.
Wow. Okay. We definitely have one too many laps on the caution periods here at Charlotte. Holy cow.
Well, I think it's because we had some lead lap cars pit. That's probably what caused it. Didn't get the quickie caution because of it.
Oof. That still stinks, though. That's a lot of pace laps, man. That's a couple laps of racing we're getting robbed of at the finish of this thing.
Well, you know who isn't loving it or isn't hating it, and that's Garrett Lowe in P1 right now, because he gets to decide when these guys get to go, when the pace car does decide to finally duck down onto pit road. So Garrett says, all right, keep taking the laps. Give me like 1 to go.
Yeah, the less laps, the better for Garrett Lowe. Less that he'd have to hang on to the race lead at the end of this thing. Coming to 8 laps to go this time at the line. So we're probably looking at 7 laps to go whenever we finally get the green flag. So Garrett Lowe's going to be liking that. Maybe hoping and praying for one more caution to push this thing into a green-white checkered. And then at that point, well, we only get 1 green-white checkered, and then the race is over. So he would love another caution right after that.
Let's see, do the lights on the pace car go off this time by? I want to say they do.
They've got to, right?
I'm
Let's
hoping
hope.
and praying. And there they go. 1 to go.
Everybody let out a little cheer. We got 1 lap to green. We're going to have 7 laps to go. Whenever we come back around, all right. So I know we picked at the beginning, but are we switching picks? Who you guys got at the end of this one? Our producer's picking with Garrett Lowe. He's liking how Garrett's looking. My pick isn't even close to the front of the field, so I think I would probably switch mine to Maines on the outside. I feel like he's got a good chance.
Yeah, my pick of Ray Alfala, he dropped a couple spots on that last little run there. He's down in P13. I don't see him really fighting for the win of this one. But if I had to pick someone new, I'd have to go with Andrew Navarro. He has shown some pretty strong pace late in this race.
Navarro has been quick. He had the race lead not too long ago, fell back to the 4th place spot. Going to have to see what he can do on the restart. Maybe he gets a little lucky with some of these guys racing in front of him. We saw it happen not too long ago with Maines and Conti getting too racy for the race lead, and Garrett Lowe able to swoop by both of them. Coming out of turn number 2. Who's it going to be? 7 laps to go this time by.
The drivers anxiously trying to heat up their tires, clean off the debris. As we exit turn 4, they're going to come into the restart zone. Garrett is going to hit the loud pedal. When does he go?
Back into the restart zone once again. 7 laps to go for Garrett Lowe on the inside. Good restart from Garrett Lowe, but not fantastic. Garrett Maines able to cycle through into second place right behind Michael Conti and give himself a good opportunity. It could be down into 3 and 4. Oh, but they're wrecking further back. Brandon Himmel around into the outside fence, and the yellow flag's going to fly.
Before they even got to turn 1, they were wrecking. Which is beautiful for Garrett Lowe, but terrible for us.
I think that I think these guys were a little antsy to get back under the green flag, maybe a little too antsy.
And these are
and
the
brought
guys
us
that
right
are on
back
fresh
under
tires.
the yellow.
3 wide here, coming across the stripe. Door banging everybody, bouncing off everybody, and couldn't bounce no more.
Well, aggressive on the restart at the end. Don't quite know how they got 3 wide in the first place. That would maybe give me a little bit. See Brandon Himmel. They did stack up in front of them, but that is a. If this was real life, that would be a bad restart. On iRacing, that's definitely allowed. But I guess you're asking to get wrecked if you do it.
Well, you say it's allowed. It's definitely frowned upon from other drivers, at least for me. Anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. Typically, that's a self-policing rule in iRacing.
Garrett with a quick little fake out on the pit road. Michael Conti in the driver's chat almost had him.
Hopefully we'll get a little quicker yellow period this time, but I don't know if it's going to happen. And I also don't know if this is going to go all the way to a green-white checkered, or if this is going to be a natural one where we don't have to burn the built-in green-white checkered.
Yeah, could potentially have 2 more restarts here. Got our lucky dog coming around the top lane of the field right now, it looks like. Not quite sure who that is. Red and blue car.
He is 13 laps down, so maybe. I guess he was first car that wasn't involved. Alex Murray, 5 laps down, didn't get the free pass. Sean Conklin, who I suppose got a little bit more damage whenever he went flipping down into turn number 3. Getting one of his laps back. So. Yeah, just a little bit. Maybe not a lot more damage, but definitely a little bit. Poor Sean having his race go up in smoke like that. Luckily, I don't think he's in VR, or else he might have needed a bucket beside him.
That is one thing I wish I did have is VR. That would make things so much better for me.
It's fun. I've tried it. I don't use it anymore, but it is definitely fun. I want triples. I feel like triples would be awesome.
Yeah, I feel like with my dirt, I like racing dirt, so to be able to turn my head right and see where I'm going out the
Oh yeah, I bet that would be nice. That would be nice.
Currently, I'm only on 1 single monitor, so it's not very ideal.
Yeah, I feel you on that. The 1 monitor is not the way to go. I've got the same. It's not fun. I mean, it's fun, but you know it could be so much better.
Oh yeah. Regardless, I have fun. That's all I'm here to do is have fun on iRacing, because at the end of the day, it might be a simulator, but it's a game.
I agree with that. I say that all the time, but nobody has it. But I agree with that wholeheartedly. This game needs to take 1 more lap out of the pace lap equation at Charlotte.
Yeah.
I need a patch.
Currently on lap 97, 3 to go. This might be a green light checkered here.
I think it's going to be a natural one, though. So we're not going to burn the iRacing one. We could still see 2 more restarts. If we get another quick yellow in the first lap, might look to have another restart by the end of this one.
Lights still showing on the pace car. Gonna get at least 1 more lap under yellow here.
Pace car driver hates fun.
Yeah. Fun sucker. Who is that driving the pace car?
I think it's Sheldon Podolsky.
Sheldon Podolsky. Get off the track, Sheldon.
He's doing a terrible job.
He's trying to win the race.
Sheldon never wins. I'd love it if Sheldon jumped into the chat right at the moment. That would be great, but I doubt it. I think he's a little busy tonight.
Well, good news is Sheldon finally turned those lights off on top of the car, so...
Well, he's
Gonna
turning
be
his
going
neck
green
so
next
far
time
back,
by.
I feel like he was breaking his neck. That is a good sight to see. Luckily, the pace car lights are off, so we can get this thing finished up, figure out who's going to win the Ryco Performance Monday Night A-Open Top Split from Charlotte. Just 2 laps to go on the restart. Hopefully, we won't have to have a green-white checkered. Hopefully, we can just finish it out on this restart. We can get that white flag in the air. Where's it going to be? Is the move going to be down to turn number 3?
I'd have to say so at the earliest, because Garrett is most likely, if he doesn't get any wheel spin here, going to have a fantastic jump again. And yeah, at the earliest, they're going to have to wait for a move into turn 3 with the draft. Yeah, we'll have to see if Garrett decides to chop off the nose of Michael Conti again, if Conti's going to be nice enough to let him in. I don't know.
It all depends on how good of a jump Conti gets.
Yep. And I don't think Conti wanted to let him in. I think he just didn't get as good a start as Garrett.
Well, who's going to get the better start out of Garrett Maines or Michael Conti to have an opportunity to take the win away from Garrett Lowe? 2 laps to go. This time by Garrett Lowe into the restart zone. The green flag is out once again. Michael Conti with a better restart this time. He's going to hang on to the second spot on the inside of Garrett Maines.
And 3 wide already in the back of the pack. But the focus is up front. Conti side by side with Garrett Maines coming out of turn 2. Garrett going to ride the momentum on the high side, get the better run. Garrett blocking both lanes. Garrett Lowe, that is.
Garrett Lowe coming out of turn number 4. Bumper in the wall. Joshua Watson spinning down towards the apron. White flag in the air. No caution flag is flown. Garrett Lowe, 1 more lap. Out on the racetrack, Michael Conti, Garrett Maines still fighting it out for second place. The second place is not going to be good enough tonight. Side by side, still slowing each other down the back straightaway. Garrett Lowe saying thank you very much, pulling away all the way down the back and down into 3 and 4 for the final time. It looks like it's going to be Garrett Lowe in the Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split to bring it home in the A-Open race from Charlotte Motor Speedway, as we have another spinner behind and a tight photo finish for second. Looks like Garrett Maines got it over Michael Conti, who finishes in 3rd.
Wow, what a finish of this race there, Austin. That was awesome. Great job for Garrett Lowe. Congrats to Garrett on the victory.
Very eventful green-white checkered finish at the end. Garrett Maines and Michael Conti could not get it sorted out for second, and that allowed Garrett Lowe to just pull off into the distance by himself up at the front and able to bring home the checkered flag here tonight. Austin Derbyshire with the pick. Picked him from the beginning of the race. What a job from Darby. Whenever he doesn't, or whenever he's not a GridVision homer, he's actually a pretty smart picker. So Austin needs to actually pick the race winner legitimately from now on. But we're going to use this opportunity as Garrett Lowe exits the vehicle to go for our last commercial break of the evening. Whenever we come back, we're going to try to get a couple interviews with our top 3 finishers. Welcome back to some more Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split action. We've just finished up the A Open race. Here's your final race rundown. Garrett Lowe brings home the checkered flag in the first place spot. Garrett Maines in second. Michael Conti rounds out the podium in third. Nicholas Roman in fourth. Patrick Gator rounds out the top five. Andrew Navarro sixth. Clayton Hoffman seventh. Ray Alfala in the eighth place position with Jacob Schneider ninth. And Joseph Squared rounds out your top 10.
And just outside your top 10 in P11 is Shane Davis with Justin Levine coming in behind him in 12th. Edward Scher in 13th, Brandon Bikey in 14th, Paul Grigoli in 15th, 16th is JC Nobrega, Miller Bands on coming home in 17th, 18th, Brendan Heimel, Brandon Evans in 19th, and rounding out your top 20 positions is Keegan Leahy.
21st is Derek Heitman with Jake Matheson in 22nd, J.R. Borborema in 23rd, Renato Tamburini in 24th, Joshua Watson rounds out the top 25 with Alex Murray in 26th, Sean Conklin in 27th, Johan Seminario 28th, and Matt DiCiani rounds out your 29 car field. We were hoping to have some interviews at the end of the A Open, but it doesn't seem to, there doesn't seem to be anybody in the Discord. So that's going to do it for us for the A Open. Stick with us. We're going to have a little switch over of the streams, and then we're going to have some B Open action coming at you from Charlotte right after the little break. Welcome back to some more Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split action. We got the B Open race on deck for you here on the grid. I got Mark Kalin side by side with me, Austin Edstrom in the booth, Austin Derbyshire behind the production booth as always. We got a cracking A Open race. Now we got the B Open series ready to do the same. And well, me and Mark are in agreement up in the booth that the B Open cars or the Xfinity cars are better and more fun to drive than the next gen cars. So we're expecting a better race.
I would hope so there, Austin. You know, like you said, the Cup Series drivers put on a fantastic show, so it's going to be tough to beat. But I have faith that these guys can do it.
At 24 degrees of banking around the corners here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway lends itself to some fast cornering speeds around this 1.5 mile racetrack. Lots of different grooves you can take. Saw a lot of different styles of racing in the next gen. You really wanted to wrap the bottom if you were by yourself, but side by side you wanted the top side. Gonna have to see if it's going to be any similar here in the Xfinity Series car. Zach Rinker leading the championship standings with 2 races left to go. Actually, I should say the B Open is year long, right? So I guess there's still a ways to go in the B Open standings, but really close up at the top between Zach Rinker, Quentin Warman, Brandon Hawk, Jimmy Norman, John Hathaway Jr. All those guys within shouting distance of the leader. And our very own Justin Levine all the way at the bottom of the 40 car standings. I think we're going to jump into our keys to the race. Mark, what do you have for the Xfinity cars?
Well, Austin, I think it's going to be more the same as what I mentioned in the Cup Series race. It's going to be make sure you keep the tires under you, not burn them off too much, because these cars, unlike the Cup cars, actually do have tire fall off, and it's a lot more noticeable in these cars than it is in the Cup cars, in my opinion. The other issue is going to be making sure you do not crash into the turn 4 wall. These cars are not as forgiving as the Cup cars, so they are more likely to take body damage, which will affect your downforce and make you go slower along the straightaways. And then the final key to the race is, if we do manage to get some green flag pit stops, it's going to be entering pit road. Making that transition from racetrack to apron is always tricky here with the high speeds, and the steepness of the banking coming off the corner there will unsettle the car coming off the exit. So those are my keys to the race, and we're gonna have to wait and find out who can survive to finish on the top step of the podium here tonight for the B Open Series.
Yeah, and we're going to look into our broadcast picks real quick before qualifying finishes up. So we got a minute and a half left in the qualifying tank. But my pick, we got Schmidt up in the number 3 car. I think he's gonna pull it through. Only in the 6th place position currently in the qualifying order. But I think Brandon Schmidt's gonna put his number 3 car up towards the front.
Yeah, and for me, I went with Justin Smith, excuse me, in the number 2 car. Just wanted to one up you there a little bit, Austin.
Well, 3 plus 2 equals 5. Look at that, 4-packa. The 5. I think it's meant to be. One of these guys probably will not bring home the checkered flag. Yeah, I don't know. We're typically not very good. Our producer's on a pretty good hot streak though. Whenever he actually seriously picks, so I might be a little inclined to pick the 5 after seeing our producer put his hands on that. But going into qualifying, a little bit different than what we saw in the A Open. The next gen cars this week for the A Open is a nighttime race. Here we're in the middle of the day. It's overcast, so it's not too hot, but the track temp still up to 98 degrees. We were looking at the mid to low 80s in the next gen race, so a little bit hotter track temps here tonight.
Yeah, and you know what that means, Austin? That means hotter tires, greasier, slicker conditions. So these guys are going to be sliding around a lot more than those Cup cars were.
Yeah, and I feel like because we're not at night, we still got some sunlight peeking through the clouds. I feel like the race cars out on the racetrack are just going to put more heat into it, and that track temp will probably hover around 98, if not go a little bit higher. I think it went down during the A Open race, but that was a nighttime race, getting off into the evening. This one, not so much. Qualifying is over, so we're going to run through our starting lineup. We got Cruz Cadell on the front and on the pole with a 29.731. Chad Sullivan on his outside, 0.02 of a second behind. Charles Velasquez Jr. going to be starting at the 3rd place position with Blair Wickett on his outside in 4th. Justin Smith heads up row number 3 with Brandon Schmidt on the outside in 6th. Row number 4 is going to be kicked off with Matt White. Eddie Rose is going to be on the outside in the 8th place spot. James Holzer is going to be starting in 9th with Mitchell Lancaster rounding out the top 10.
And starting off in P11, we got Clinton Ingle with Michael Whitaker on his outside, Richie Stanaway and Brandon J. Minto in row number 11, I believe. No, I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm getting my rows mixed up. Starting in P13 and 14th, Brandon Burkhart and Chris Frost in 15th and 16th, Dustin Tank in 17th, and your last driver to set that time in 88 is Jesse Freeze with Matt Forca, Jared Bogard rounding out your top 20.
Derek Garrison is going to be starting in 25th, or starting 21st. Todd Peterson in 22nd. Chris Mawson starts in 23rd with Kevin Nunn in 24th, and Joe Dutch rounds the 25 car field here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Getting ready to go green. Still got 30 seconds left for these guys to grid up and get up on the racetrack and get up on the wheel. You ready to give us a show?
Yeah, just apologies for getting a little tongue-tied there during the grid there, folks. I do want to point out, Austin, of the 18 drivers that set a time, this field is within a half a second of each other exactly. So that means it's going to be
Pretty
close
tight.
racing.
It's pretty tight. I mean,
Yeah.
and like you mentioned, the tire savings is going to come into play a lot more in the B race. So how hard do you push at the beginning of this thing? Do you get as many spots as you can, hope a caution flag flies, or do you really hang on to those tires and hope that this thing runs green all the way throughout? I feel like most mile and a halves tend to go towards the going green for at least a good chunk of the race.
Yeah, and we saw in that first race about a 60-lap green flag run before the first caution did come out during green flag pit stops. So if that's the case, you definitely want to, manage your stuff a lot more, just kind of back it down and save it for the long run. However, this is a different crop of drivers. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. It could be a caution in the first 5 to 10 laps. We'll just have to wait and find out.
Yeah, and that caution that ended that 60-lap green flag run, that wasn't even anything on the racetrack. It was somebody coming out of pit road, making a mistake on the apron, just kind of sliding it out. And he didn't even come on the racetrack, and yet we still got the yellow flag coming out. So you never really know. The caution flags can fly for the smallest things, but if you get to that long green flag run, if you get to the 30, 40-lap point, it's pretty difficult to have a caution come out at that point. It almost feels like it's a little bit less of a chance with everybody spread out. And with this B car, I feel like we do have a good bit of field spread most of the time.
Yeah, at least in my league races with the B car, it does tend to get a little more spread out than the A car. So hopefully that's not the case tonight. I want to see them all bunched up and fighting each other real hard.
Well, we're about to find out. We got 90 laps of racing from the Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina. Cruz Cadell leading us down off of turn number 4. Pace car has pulled off down to pit road, and we are down to the restart zone. Green flag is flying. Cruz Cadell to the loud pedal and to the start-finish line, and we are green from the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
And Cruz Cadell off to the early lead. Clear out in front, coming through turns 1 and 2 for the first time. And then the 64 of Chad Sullivan gonna float up in there in P2 as they come into turns 3 and 4 for the first time.
Inside row really powerful through 1 and 2, getting up through the gears. Able to cycle through. Velasquez Jr. from third. Heavy into the outside wall. Goes the 21.
And we're going to stay green because that's down in the... Oh, there's the yellow. Well, that didn't take long, Austin.
Blair Wickett was the light blue Ryco car going spinning who got clobbered as the 21 came off of the fence. Tough break for Blair Wickett on the inside of the racetrack. Chad Sullivan coming out of turn number 4. Just a little bit too high. Pounds the outside wall, comes down, and Blair Wickett just had nowhere to go.
And here's the replay of it on your screen. It's just going to bounce real hard off the wall into the car below. And slam that pit wall. Just nothing he could have done. Really unfortunate.
Sucks to have that happen on lap 2. You feel a little hard done. You couldn't even get into the race. That's a frustrating one if you're Blair Wickett for sure.
Oh yeah, and the anticipation starts to build as the green flag drops, and just to be taken out by something silly so early, it's a hard one to swallow.
Yeah, and he was trying to get that thing righted to the right, but the tires just never gripped going through the turf on the inside, and they finally did whenever he got to the pit road, but it was too little too late. The momentum carried him down into pit wall, gave him some left front damage. I feel like he probably would have been fine with just the car-to-car contact, but him hitting the left side that hard into the pit road wall, I just feel like that's going to be even if he gets all that damage fixed that he can, it's going to be a tough one to come back from.
Absolutely. And Mr. Chad Sullivan there, I'm going to recommend you watch the broadcast next week because you got to listen to them keys of the race, man. You got to avoid that turn 4 wall.
Turn 4 wall definitely came out and grabbed him. That is for sure. Did not even give him an opportunity. He tried to take it down. It's going to take a lot more than that.
Yeah, the walls around Charlotte are very, very, very tough to knock down. I have yet to see it happen.
I've hit it hard enough to where you would think that it should. And they don't budge, so I'd have to agree with you.
Well, got an early break here in the action. Cruz Caldell continuing to lead. Charles Velasquez in P2, Justin Smith P3, Matt White in P4, and Brandon Schmidt rounding out your top 5 drivers so far this evening.
You want to notice something about that? The front 4, they all started 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 7th, all on the inside row. That's how good that inside row was starting off.
That is something.
Got to watch that for the rest of the race. I mean, 7th jumping all the way to 4th. The guy that, well, I don't know. That seems a little aggressive. I mean, the guy that's 2nd is out of the race, right? The guy that started 4th is all the way back in 20th. So I guess a couple of them got caught up in that wreck. But a part of that is because the front 3 had cycled up to those positions and put those guys who started on the outside kind of on the back foot. I'd be worried if I was starting on the outside towards the front of this field, Velasquez Jr. having to wait on the leader. I feel like you can just get swarmed by that inside line so easily. They can just get a better jump than you can on the outside of the racetrack.
Yeah, for whatever reason here at Charlotte, it seems that the inside lane on the restarts, they do get a better jump. Probably because the leader starts on the inside, so that probably has a lot to do with it. No choose rule as far as which lane you can start in with the iRacing official services. So you have to stay on the inside for the leader. So it's usually a little bit more predictable for that inside road to get going.
And I'll tell you what's weird is the caution laps at Charlotte. Man, they have tacked on an extra one. We did not have a lap car or anything, and we are just cruising. Just like Cruz Cadell up at the lead.
And hopefully this isn't a sign of things to come either. Hopefully we get some green flag laps going here and not sitting here doing some pacing. Don't want that.
Yeah, it kind of puts a sour taste in my mouth because I know the racing is good around here. I was a good couple laps until that caution flag. A shame that we had to have a yellow so early on in this one.
Yeah, definitely a shame. Because, like you said, the racing can be really good. And unfortunately, we were robbed of that opportunity there early on.
I've been called out by my producer for drinking, so I apologize if that came through the microphone. Apparently, my Dr. Pepper is coming through, so I apologize. Best drink in the world.
You got to keep your Whistler wet, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Well, that's all right. I'm over here sipping on a Big Red, so.
Finally, with 1 lap to green, coming through turns 1 and 2. Cruz Cadell still up in the race lead. Velasquez Jr. in 2nd. Justin Smith in 3rd. Couple heavy hitters that are relegated towards the back of the pack. Gonna get a check in on Blair Wickett. I'm looking at him right now. Still a lot of front end damage for the driver of the number 13, so that's going to be a big hamper on Blair's night. Chad Sullivan's back on the racetrack, 2 laps down. Don't see too much damage on him, but I got to imagine he's hurting too, pounding that outside wall the way he did.
Yeah, as you
saw,
a
couple damage race cars on the field.
That left front kicked in over the tire. That car is not going to be competing for the win this evening.
No chance for Blair Wickett, taken away from him on lap number 2, coming out of turn 4. Still a lot of heavy hitters up towards the front, led by Cruz Cadell coming out of turn number 4 for the last time under caution. Coming to lap number 7, the iRacing pace car getting ready to pull off of the banking and down pit road. And we're about to get back under the green flag here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Cruz Cadell down to the restart zone. How good would that inside line be? Cruz Cadell jumps to the gas pedal. Kyle Smith to the inside of Velasquez Jr. for 2nd.
And Cruz Cadell with a huge jump over the rest of the field on that restart, coming through 1 and 2. Top 5 almost single file. And then it's 2x2 through the rest of the field.
Yeah, the front couple of guys starting to sort themselves out further back. Brandon Schmidt kind of leads the group, getting turned. The 48 goes into the wall. A couple different drivers getting spun into the outside fence. James Holzer involved.
Going into
the
turn
6
1.
is backwards. Oh, heavy impact into the inside wall well after the caution flag had flown. Dustin Tank is destroyed.
Holy cow, Austin. It is all gone to hell here tonight.
Oh, man.
Pardon my
Chris
French.
Frost did not realize that they had gotten 3 wide after the caution flag came out and absolutely destroyed Dustin Tank after the initial incident, which happened a little bit further up. This is a totally separate one right here with the 6 going into the fence. Very strange accident. Then the 18 gets sent heavy into the inside wall. That's going to destroy Dustin Tank's night. I mean, he's going to have no chance after that.
No, that's likely going to be night over. It all kicked off here, though, right here with this 48 car coming up on top of the 17, getting turned right here. Managed to keep it going straight with the assistance of the wall, but that's what caused this whole chain reaction.
Yeah, Holzer on the outside of Matt White. Matt just really didn't give him enough room. Kicked off the whatever happened up front, and then at the same time, the 6, totally unrelated. I don't think that they were reacting to him whatsoever. The 6 gets turned into the outside wall coming out of turn 4. Pretty similar instance. Just ran out the guy on the outside groove, maybe a little bit of netcode on that one. And then obviously Dustin Tank, the yellow flag's flying. Everybody's kind of lifting off the gas pedal, and well, Frost kind of cuts the dog leg, not expecting them to be 3 wide, doesn't leave enough room, and well, Dustin Tank. Ooh, that's a tough one for Tank.
Yeah, that's gonna be a hard one to swallow here, folks.
Well, we're going to use the opportunity to take our first commercial break of the racing action. Be sure to stay with us. We got more racing on the other side.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. iRacing.com.
Ryco Performance, a Monday night top split action from the Charlotte Motors Speedway. We got a little bit more action on offer for you. Still 78 laps to go at the line this time by Cruz Cadell, still in the race lead. And the inside line still looking super powerful on the restarts. Worked out that time for Justin Smith, but you got to imagine the shoe's going to be on the other foot this time with Charles Velasquez Jr. starting in the third place spot. Coming out of turn number 4. Sorry, the iRacing pace car coming down off of the racetrack down to pit road. Cruz Cadell back up to the Geico restart zone. Getting ready to get back under the green flag for the third time tonight. Cruz Cadell with a good jump. The inside line not quite as good this time, but I think Velasquez is still going to get down there.
Yeah, they're going to be side by side for position number 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 coming out of turn 2. They're going to single file it up for the top 5.
Justin Smith drives it in deep on the outside of 3 and 4. Powers by the outside of his teammate and looking for the race lead to the inside of Cruz Cadell, coming through the dogleg. To the inside of turn number 1 goes Justin Smith, and he drives that thing to the race lead. Power move from Justin Smith.
Yeah, that was a really, really big statement from Justin Smith, but he's got to be careful with that right front tire. He can melt that off and get himself a really tight race car if he's not careful.
He definitely could, and he was definitely pushing it there for a couple of laps. Somebody pushing it further back, Brandon Schmidt, to the outside of Charles Velasquez Jr., trying to use all the racetrack that he can to get the third place spot. Velasquez seeming content with saving tires right now in the third place position. A little bit further back, though, they're battling hard. Mitchell Lancaster on the outside of Brandon Minto for the 6th place position, and 2x2 behind him as well.
Big wiggle from the 24 there on the bottom lane. Great job to gather it back up. A lot of 2x2 action here in the mid-pack.
Eddie Rose leading the group, kind of stacking them up a little bit behind him down the front straightaway. Brandon Minto drives it in deep on the outside, kicking the right rear sideways on that number 12, but he's going to power body the outside of Eddie Rose, trying to take away the 5th place position. Way out to the outside goes Brandon Minto, and he's going to take that position easily. Eddie Rose under fire once again. Crossover move out of 4, not going to work. Eddie Rose hanging on to 6.
That AC Delco car looking for a way around the 46 ahead. Ducking left, gonna go for a move into turn 3 down here on the low side. And he's gonna complete the move.
Matt Forcappa getting a position a little bit further back. Somebody tagging the outside fence. It might have been Mitchell Lancaster out of turn number 4. Lancaster catching the wall. Still racing hard behind him. Jared Mogard fighting himself in a battle with Chris Frost and Richie Stanaway right in front of him. And James Holzer trying to make a comeback after that incident earlier in the race where he got stuffed in the fence.
Yeah, a lot of good side-by-side battles going on here. Oh, car in the wall there off of turn 4. That's going to be the 24. And that would be Richie Stanaway. Once again, tagging the wall off of turn 4. Managed to keep it gathered up and moving in the right direction. No harm, no foul.
Now he's stuck in a side-by-side battle with James Holzer for the 13th place spot. Holzer on the inside. Got to think he's going to take that one pretty easy. Got a fast car coming in. He's going to side-by-side battle right in front of him. Jared Mogard, Chris Frost battling it out for the 11th place spot. Not too far ahead of him is the top 10.
Well, that is an interesting paint scheme there under the 14 with the checkerboard roof. You don't see that very often.
That's how we can always tell Jared Mogard apart from everybody in this series. Anytime you see the checkerboard top, you know it's Jared Mogard.
the American 00.
Holzer looking to his inside, out of turn number 4, looking to take that position. Holzer's looking really quick, even though he was involved in that incident, had to get all that damage repair, but even after he's gotten it fixed up, he looks to be pretty quick, moving past his Team Conti teammate, Jared Mogard. Gonna be tight coming out of turn 2. Mogard gets out of the throttle and gives it to Holzer, so we can move Holzer up to the 12th place spot.
Good move there from Holzer to get around Mogard that time by. Most of the field single filing out now. Got a couple of side-by-side battles here and there, mostly in the back of the pack though.
A lot of guys racing hard about 8th on back. Eddie Rose has holding up a good squadron of cars that are all fighting each other. Whitaker now to the inside of Eddie Rose. Michael Whitaker making a move down into 3 and 4. Doesn't look like it's going to pan out for him. Eddie Rose gets on the throttle pretty early and gets a good run out of the corner, so Whitaker's going to have to regroup and try again, but he might be on the backslide. Mitchell Lancaster with a good run out of turn number 4 to the back bumper of Whitaker, but not going to make a move.
Yeah, 3 wide coming through 1 and 2 here. Down to 2 wide. It was a good move from the gentleman in that green hooded car.
Yeah, Chris Frost lost out there, moving back a couple spots. You mentioned the AC Delco scheme earlier, looking pretty good, picking up another spot on Minta. It's Matt for Kappa, moving up a spot. He's got Brandon Schmidt on his mind, up in P3, just a little ways up the road, coming through turns 1 and 2. For Kappa's come from the back of the pack. He started in the 19th place spot all the way up to 4th.
Yeah, it's been a good run for him so far this race. Hopefully he can keep that momentum going and see if he can get up to the battle for the lead here shortly.
They're still battling hard for 8th on back, I'm telling you. That's maybe that's maybe the big trouble spot on the racetrack right now, where I could definitely see an accident happening. Eddie Rose going down to the inside of the racetrack. James Holzer working all the way by the fence, trying to get everything he can on the outside. He's going to have enough momentum to get to the outside of Eddie Rose, pull past him, and move himself back up into the 8th place position. James Holzer, after that early incident, moved himself up back into the top 8, only 25 laps into it. Still got plenty of time to work his way up towards the front. Eddie Rose is still on a backslide, though. Todd Peterson's coming at him.
Yeah, this battle here has been going on for quite a while now, as they go side by side into turns number 1 and 2. The gap will be his car down on the inside.
Is that Mitchell Lancaster? It is. Goodness gracious. I love it. Jared Mogard to his outside, though, trying to prevent the advertisement from coming true. Not going to do it right there. Lancaster hanging on to the spot over Mogard. That's for 12th.
Got a battle for 3rd shaping up here between the 3 and the 20. That's Schmidt and Minta. Excuse me, for Kappa and Schmidt. Schmidt looking for a way to get around.
Kappa's still continuing his march to the front, though. Starting in 19th up to 3rd. I mean, that's a heck of a run from Matt for Kappa. You got to think. Justin Smith, Cruz Cadell are shaking in their boots, seeing for Kappa come from the back of the field all the way up to 3rd and less than a second behind.
Yeah, I would definitely be nervous as well. Justin, though, he could just be saving his tires, as well as Cruz Cadell right now, just kind of cruising along, if you will. Just trying to save their stuff for later in the run. And if I was a betting man, I'd probably look for them to split this run in half, because I don't think they're going to have enough fuel to go all the way to the end, and nor would you want to with these tires. They're going to get really, really greasy before the end of that run.
Yeah, for sure to have a pit stop at some point. I'd have to agree with you that they'll probably start coming down around 45 or so. There was a yellow at the beginning of this thing, right? 2 yellows.
Yeah,
So,
I think we went back to green around lap 15, maybe.
So maybe you'll see people push it to 50 because you can kind of push it back because you ran so many cautions under, or so many laps under caution. But I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, definitely another pit stop, regardless whether it's yellow or green flags. But not exactly sure when that might happen. As a battle for, it looks like 5th place is shaping up between 4 cars now under a blanket.
Yeah, Holzer's still coming back from his issue from earlier, making a good fight of it, for the 5th place position to the inside of Brandon Minto. Diving it down deep into turn number 3, late on the brakes. Holzer maybe pushing it a little too hard through the center of the corner, missing the bottom of the racetrack by a bit. Minto powering back on the outside, trying to hang on to the 6th place position. Charles Velasquez Jr. just a little bit further up the road. Holzer drives it in deep down into turn number 1. Peterson trying to follow him through, but Holzer's going to be able to take 6.
Yeah, Minto using that high lane, and it's not working for him right now. They're able to drive by him on the bottom lane.
Holzer immediately to the outside, though, as soon as he takes the spot, trying to get a run off of turn number 4 on Velasquez. Gets a huge run down the front straightaway and all the way to the inside of Velasquez, down to the second dog leg and down to turn number 1. James Holzer's going to take the place of Velasquez, is under fire for 6th place now.
Yeah, Holzer seems to be able to put his car wherever he wants to and make it work. Minto, you just weren't able to do that. I believe his car is better suited for the bottom lane.
So James Holzer flying through the pack. Velasquez Jr. maybe a little bit too far out of the groove on the outside of turn 4. Going to give up a spot to Todd Peterson, who has followed James Holzer through really well, by the way. Todd Peterson doing a phenomenal job, working his way through the field up into the top 6. James Holzer up into 5th place, still on the outside of Peterson. Peterson trying to challenge for that position, not going to be able to do it. And now Holzer's going to set his sights on the top 4.
Yeah, the gap from Holzer up to P4 looks to be right around 7 to 8 tenths of a second. So still within the draft range, but just ever so slightly. As a battle for 3rd going on right now.
Yeah, 3rd place switching hands. Brandon Schmidt back to the inside. Matt Furcapa, maybe he did just burn up his tires a little bit too much. Schmidt able to take back the position rather easily. Furcapa looking back to the inside, though, down the back straightaway.
Furcapa saying, no, I'm not done yet. I don't want to give up 3rd just yet. He's going to look inside here. Not going to have the momentum off the exit as Brandon Schmidt with the high lane. Definitely going to have that momentum advantage. Furcapa just going to have to sit tight and see if he can get that position back, because it looks to be a little loose there in the middle to exit of the corner.
Yeah, Brandon Schmidt was using absolutely all the racetrack in 3 and 4 last time by. I mean, sticking that right rear out, just about feathering the wall. Able to keep it out of it and get a good run down the front straightaway. Running a little bit lower this time. More of a natural line for Brandon Schmidt. Not pushing the car too much.
Had a slider in the back of the field there.
Yeah, they like to slide out those rear tires a good handful of times back in the back.
I believe that was Kevin Nunn. Yep, Kevin Nunn just a slide through the exit of turn 4 there, down on the apron. Actually had a little bit of help from Chad Sullivan.
Ooh, Nunn looking to the inside of Jared Mogard. Into 3 and 4 once again. Mogard way up by the wall, utilizing that big run that he's going to get out of the corner. And Mogard's going to keep that spot, and that might put Nunn under fire from behind.
Yeah, looking at this gaggle of cars here. You got 7 or 8 cars all gathered together here.
Sorry, that was Whitaker on the inside.
Jared way up the racetrack, right alongside that cushion in turns 3 and 4.
I think Brandon Schmidt's just a little bit quicker than our leader right now. Cruz Cadell's running down Justin Smith as well. It's starting to tighten up at the front towards the end of this run. We might have a 3-car race for the lead right as we're starting to come down for pit stops.
Yeah, starting to see who's been able to manage their tires a little bit better so far in this run. It looks like Schmidt running them down maybe has a little bit better tire wear right now.
It's pretty tight between the top three. They just kind of keep changing who's running the fastest lap. Everybody stuck up to the outside wall. Holzer still trying to run these guys down from his earlier incident. For Kappa just trying to hang on until the pit stops. But the front three are closing up.
Yeah, all the top three within a 0.7 of a second of each other. This is what you like to see. Battles for the lead. As the dude on the hood with the American shades just watches on. As that car in front of him gets closer and closer, bigger and bigger.
And he was able to find some clean air that time. Smith running the bottom. Gives Cruz Cadell a little bit of clean air on the outside. Not that big of a run coming out of turn number 2 for Cadell, though. For Kappa letting a couple more drivers by. Starting to really struggle on the older tires. Matt for Kappa back to 6th. 7th.
Yeah, I think for Kappa maybe used up his stuff a little too much driving up through the field earlier on. And we're starting to see the fruits of that labor start to go away.
I think Brandon Schmidt's starting to hurt too. Might have just had an incident. He has fallen about half a second off of Justin Smith in the last lap and a half, so a bit of an issue from Brandon Schmidt. Cruz Cadell still 0.2 of a second back, not able to get any closer to Justin Smith.
Man, they are just inches away from that outside wall there. It really does take a lot of talent to be able to run that line consistently without getting into it.
And James Holzer's doing it lap after lap. I mean, he is painting the fence every single time by through 1 and 2. Trying to hang on to this spot from Todd Peterson's 4th place. Coming through 3 and 4 this time. Holzer again all the way to the outside of the racetrack. Trying to clear him off the corner.
Yeah, using the momentum of the outside to stay ahead of Peterson there. Meanwhile, the gaps up at the front are starting to open up a little bit there. Austin Schmidt's falling back a 1.5 seconds off of the 2 leaders.
Yeah, he has, and Cadell has dropped 0.2 off of the back of Justin Smith. So as soon as I was saying they were starting to close up, Justin Smith found another gear.
Yeah, he must have been keeping a little extra in the tank for those tires as far as stickiness.
Well, now he's got a great advantage going into this pit stop. He can basically choose the strategy, right? He's got a big enough gap to where if Cadell comes down, he can very well wait one more lap and come in and still come out right in front of Cadell. So I feel like Justin Smith's just in a really good position right now. He can kind of force the hands of the other guys and run this thing out as long as he wants.
Yeah, he's just in cruise control mode right now. As we are now at halfway in this race, lap 46 has just been completed by our race leader. And just to remind you all, we had those 2 cautions, so they might stay out a little later for a later run with the fresher tires at the end of this race. But, you know, I think the pit window is open. They could come down at any time.
It is absolutely open. It's just about who's going to be the first one down. Who's going to pull the trigger? Are they going to keep waiting? It's just a matter of time. But to your point, 2 cautions to throw this thing for a loop at the very beginning could push back the pit sequence by a handful of laps. But you still got to think that they're going to be coming soon as they're fighting hard side by side for 4th. Todd Peterson still not able to get by James Holzer.
So we're hearing that Holzer did end up pitting through that last yellow cycle. So he is on 10-lap fresher tires than the rest of the field right now. So
did he take tires or did he just fix his damage? Because he had a lot of damage to fix, so he might have just fixed damage.
That could be possible. I'm not sure if he took tires or not. You would think that if he did, he'd be up there fighting for the lead right now.
That's what I was kind of thinking. And he's super quick, challenges for the race lead time and time again in the B Open race every single Monday night for the Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split. So I'd expect him to be up there. I feel like if he had 10-lap fresher tires. So I don't know. I think that advantage might not be quite what we think.
Regardless, to have to stop and get damage fixed, meaning you to be in the back of the pack and have to drive up through the field and be fifth and stay there, that's still impressive.
I can definitely agree with you on that. He is doing a good job staying there too. Jared Mogard on the bottom side of the racetrack, trying to hang on to his spot. Fighting for the 12th place position. Jesse Prees and Michael Whitaker behind him. Prees to the inside of Mogard into 3 and 4. Prees all the way down to the apron. Wrapping the bottom side of the racetrack really good. He's going to clear Mogard off the corner.
It's looking like the bottom lane may be the quicker way if you have the car that can handle it.
Yeah, it just seems if you can save that right front tire and let the car rotate on the bottom side of the racetrack, it really comes in at the end of the run, and you can just let the car rotate itself down on the bottom side and keep up the momentum. And right now, Justin Smith's doing it the best.
Well, it also helps that Justin Smith has not got any dirty air on the nose of his car, as we got our first taker for the pit stops, and I believe that is going to be for Kappa.
That doesn't surprise me one bit. He was struggling big time, falling through the pack. Matt Furcapa being the first one down pit road. Not a big surprise. I believe he was running in the 7th place position before he came down pit road. And now we're just going to have to wait and see how do the leaders respond.
And Peterson and Holzer side by side again, just opposite sides of the track this time. Holzer on the bottom, Peterson up top. But for
Holzer's
whatever
actually
reason,
in front. That's Velasquez.
yeah, Peterson did not like the high side that time. He was able to get Velasquez under him.
Yeah, Peterson just can't seem to shy away from any of these battles. A little bit of a moment ahead for Brandon Schmidt. Peterson's been side by side with a Conti car for it seems like the entirety of this race so far.
Yeah, whether it be Velasquez or Holzer, has got some tire smoke coming from up ahead. Was that Mr. Engel, Clinton Engel, having some issues there off of turn 4?
It might have been as he's getting lapped. Clinton had a ton of damage. Probably didn't get the whole thing fixed. I don't know how he could have. Thing was crab walking earlier. Now stuck in a battle as the lead lap cars go by.
Looks like it's still crab walking just a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't look pretty. And we're starting to get to that point where I'm really surprised we haven't seen more people come down pit road.
Yeah, I think just the caution cycle just kind of threw a hamper in that, making people stay out later.
I think everybody's afraid of that caution flag coming out, too, that would trap them a lap down. Saw it happen in the A Open not too long ago. I would be a little worried.
Yeah, there's always a cause for concern in these official races. You never know when the yellow's going to fly. And it always seems to happen during the pit cycles.
I gotta say, though, these guys are giving up a lot of time to guys like Matt Furcapa. Matt's running a 2.5 lap faster.
Oh,
than our
as we
leaders
speak,
right now.
Here comes Peterson down pit road.
Peterson first of the top 5 to come down. These guys are not going to be able to run too much longer at the front of the field. Cruz Cadell, 2 seconds off of our race leader. It's going to have to be soon for these guys.
Yeah, just trying to look through the back of the pack here. Mostly everybody single file. Nothing too crazy going on right now.
Wow, they're still staying out. Holy cow. I think
I'm
Furcapa's going to be the leader after all this.
Oh, yeah, he'll definitely cycle to the lead. However, depending on if any yellows come out, he won't be there very long, I don't think. Oh,
Okay,
there's the yellow.
well, good thing for these guys that hadn't come down pit road. Todd Peterson is coming off of pit road. I'm not sure.
It's Furcapa.
Furcapa's the one that spun?
Furcapa in turns 1 and 2. Looks like he was making a pass on somebody. I'll wait for the replay. I don't want to spoil it for you guys.
Oh, yeah. He might have ran himself out of room there with Whitaker on his outside.
Yep.
Coming down into turns 1 and 2.
Fresher tires, just drifts up a little too high. There's a car there.
Yeah, he kind of did that to himself. I got to be honest.
I'd have to agree with you, Austin.
Well, tough break for Kappa, but you know what? He was the one not needing a caution, and he ended up doing the thing that would bring out one. So kind of just is what it is. But I mean, that sucks for him. He was running a second and a half lap faster than the leader. He would have came out in the lead.
Yeah.
But instead, that is all for nothing. Todd Peterson getting a trap to lap down as he had come down pit road. Brandon Minto, Chad Sullivan, Clinton Engel, who was he hadn't come down pit road, but he had lost a lap. Chris Mawson, I believe, pitted. Chris Frost pitted. Kevin Nunn also had already come down pit road, and all those guys getting screwed by this caution, having to take the wave around. But up front, everybody's coming down pit road. We're going to use this opportunity to take our final commercial break of the racing action. Stay with us. We get the last 30 laps to the checkered flag on the other side.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Ryco Performance's Monday Night Top Split on the grid from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We've had a heck of a race so far. 60 laps about to be completed. 30 laps to go whenever we take the green flag after this restart. Justin Smith has led the way for most of the way. Brandon Schmidt on his outside. Cruz Cadell looking hungry in third. Charles Velasquez in fourth. James Holzer's rebounded from the back of the pack to be up into the top five. It's anybody's best guess who's going to win this thing. Anybody in the top five to take it.
Yeah, that's going to be the trick, is who can manage their tires for this last 30 laps before the race ends. And can we stay green for those 30 laps? That's going to be an even bigger question to ask.
And I think they're going to be gunning hard for that race lead immediately. Almost can't even wait on the tires. You got to go, go, go from the drop of the green flag. Justin Smith coming back to the restart zone. Oh, the 6 is spinning hard into the inside wall on the restart further back. Far enough on the race or off the racetrack where we're not going to have a yellow flag. Justin Smith up into the race lead. Brandon Schmidt in second, but man, we were almost right back under the yellow as soon as we went to green.
What in the world happened there, Austin? That was Clinton Engel.
We're going to get a look back to figure it out. Way back on the restart, hanging back. He's laps down because he had been damaged. Oh, well, he checks up for the guys in front of him that weren't going yet and got ran over. Pretty easy to see on that one.
Yeah. Richie was ready to go and did not anticipate a checkup there, so really unfortunate for Clinton.
Racer for second. Schmidt's been dropped back to the 5th place spot. James Holzer looking to the inside of Cruz Cadell for second. Pushing up off the exit of turn number 4. Both drivers trying to get every little bit out of it. Trying to use all of the racetrack. James Holzer looks to be through to second, and he is coming down to turn 1.
And what of a turn of events for James Holzer. Getting caught up in the first yellow of the race and now fighting for the lead of the race.
Oh, huge impact towards the back of the pack. The yellow flag's going to fly as 3 cars, 4 cars, 5, 6, the entire back half of the field caught up in the backstretch melee. The wreck that just would not stop. What in the world?
Got some Talladega Nights action going on here, Charlotte.
Maybe some ARCA braking.
And maybe some ARCA braking.
That looked, I mean, it looked like it was going to be big, but I don't know if it should have been 7 or 8 car big. But either way, the 25 coming out of turn number 2, well, it happens in front of them. The 81 gets sent hard into the outside wall. Jared Bogart involved early. And, well, multiple cars spinning across the racetrack. Ends up being a parking lot down the back straightaway.
Wow, that was a big one for sure.
Who's in the 81? Oh, that's Derek Garrison. Oh yeah.
Yeah, just
if I was Derek, I would have expected to have a little bit more racetrack given to me by the car on the outside. To be honest, I think Mogard ran him a little narrow.
I think it's only going to get worse from here, though, Austin. The laps are dwindling down, and that's just meaning these drivers have less time to make moves, and they're going to be more desperate to do so.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet. I think we're going to have a couple more cautions. I would have to agree with you. It's I feel like this is just the tip of the iceberg, and it's just downhill from here. But, I mean, that took out a lot of guys towards the back half of the pack. Oh, Joe Dutch just about found a way through the middle and ended up being huge. It's going to take Dutch out of the race.
Yeah, unfortunately, that hole closed up very quickly for him.
Story of my life.
I'm not going to touch that one. Apparently, neither are my cats.
Not going over the broadcast. That's yeah. We're not going over the broadcast with what the producer just said. That's staying right back in the back pocket.
Oh Lord! Well, here we are, lap 65, under yellow for the fourth time this evening.
It is the 4th, isn't it? We had 2 quick ones, and then the one in the middle of the green flag pit stops, and now we are working number 4. It's crazy. It just feels like so many more because of the extra pace laps. I feel like we've got multiple extra on every single run around, man. Like it's a little much.
It's like real world NASCAR. They're just throwing extra caution laps out there to suit their favorite driver, Chase Elliott.
Oh, this is gonna suck during the 600. That's gonna suck. Man, they gotta roll out a patch, take out a pace lap, please. Holy cow, that's gonna be terrible.
You might want to bring your pillow for your caution lap nap times.
Oh man, I can't believe they've done this to me. iRacing, what is going on? I hope we just took 2 to green.
Well, currently right now your top 5 rundown is Justin Smith, James Holzer with a heck of a recovery drive up to P2, Cruz Cadell, Charles Velasquez, and Brandon Schmidt rounding out your top 5. Gonna get.
Unfortunately for Holzer, he's on the outside groove though.
Yeah, well, if he can get a good jump on Justin for that green flag there going into turn 1, he may have a shot coming down the backstretch.
They are teammates, so he could get a call out to at least be able to drop into second behind him. Maybe, but I don't know. I don't know at this point. Coming down to less than 25 to go, do you throw the teammate stuff out of the window?
I mean, are there really teammates in racing if you're not at a plate track?
I mean, you can play teammate. You can play nice in a couple areas.
Maybe in the first half of a race, but after that, I think it's every man for himself.
And especially like if you're Justin Smith, put James Holzer under as much pressure as possible. Make him go side by side with third place and hope that you pull out a gap. I feel like that's the right play, but you never know whenever you see the same paint scheme across two cars whether they're gonna pull some teammate stuff.
Yeah, I mean, for Justin Smith right now, his best case scenario is to see Holzer side by side with that number 55 of Cruz Caudell. That'll allow Justin to pull away as those two battle it out. So that is best case scenario for him, and that's what I'm sure he wants to see so he can get the victory lane. But we're gonna have to wait to get this green flag going again and see what happens.
The only reason I really talk heavily about the teammate restart stuff is because that's probably what I would do. You know, you want the teammate behind you, but under this scenario, with how quick Holzer is, you almost don't want to have to race him heads up. And we're getting ready to find out whether Justin Smith's going to. I feel like the field is really thinned out after that last wreck. Got a couple stragglers coming around, but that last one took out a good chunk of lead lap cars, and well, the field size is looking a little bit smaller. Oh man, we're about to wreck under yellow.
Well, we've only had 4 cautions involving 12 cars. I mean, our used car lot's looking a little heavy right now. I think we got like 6 or 7 cars completely out.
Yeah, I feel like that last caution took 2/3 of them, right? The 2/3 of those numbers were that last yellow. That was a huge one down the back straightaway. Hopefully we're done with the wrecking for tonight. 23 laps to go at the line. Justin Smith up in the race lead. He's got his teammate on his outside. Got a teammate in fourth. Cruz Caudell, the lone warrior, in the third place position there on the inside. Justin Smith on the restart. James Holzer gets a good jump. That's going to put him into the second place spot easily behind his teammate of Justin Smith. That's exactly what those Team Conti guys wanted to do.
Yeah, Charles Velasquez stuck on the high side. He's going to drop back to 5th. Did not get a great run through the corner and the high side of 1 and 2. Going to go single file through third and turns 3 and 4. First side-by-side action is going to be Jesse Freeze on the high side of Todd Peterson. Excuse me.
The time for tire savings over. It's go time. Todd Peterson knows it. Looking to the inside through 1 and 2. Todd pushing up the racetrack just a little bit. Eddie Rose on the outside trying to hang on to the position. Peterson's got him beat down the back straightaway. Who's got it down into 3 and 4? It's going to be Peterson. Rose backs out. Creates a little bit of a log jam on the exit of turn number 4. But up towards the front, the Team Conti cars are getting close.
There's action all throughout the field. Currently, the battle for the lead is on between Holzer and Smith. Which of these two Conti drivers is going to pull off the victory tonight? Or will it be someone in here to play the upset game?
If the front two run off their tires enough, I could see Caudell maybe being in it. Oh! They're still wrecking down the front straightaway. The 46 goes around down the front. Looks like he's going to be all right, but there was a lot of contact before that. It's Eddie Rose, I believe, in the 46. They got sent for a ride. Gonna have to get a look at what happened coming out of turn number 4 to bring us under yellow.
Oh man, there are some hurt feelings over the comms right now. That's for sure.
Yeah, Eddie Rose got absolutely ran over by Brandon Burkhart coming through 3 and 4, and that stacked everybody up. A couple guys not really lifting for others that are sideways.
Yep.
The 19 ends up being the caution, but really what causes it is Eddie Rose a little bit further up, getting turned. I don't know if we could get that a little bit earlier, but if we could, you'd see Burkhart driving through Eddie Rose to get them door banging down the front straightaway. Eddie Rose coming in to fix some damage onto pit road. A lot of guys actually coming down pit road. James Holzer stays out. He might have been the only one that stayed out. Mitchell Lancaster. That's the only other one. Holy cow. Is that replay to see exactly what happened? Lancaster getting a decent run out of 2, not able to pull up to the back bumper of Eddie Rose. Coming down into 3 and 4. Rose gets through the corner, maybe able to check up in the middle. Burkhart never gets off his back bumper and sends him for a slide, and they can not really get disconnected after that. The check up behind with the 19 getting ran over is what brought out the yellow, but the catalyst was more Eddie Rose towards the front getting drove through.
Yeah, and in that situation, it's the driver behind's responsibility not to cause contact to the car in front, especially when they're still driving forward, as it were.
Yeah, it's not like it was a big checkup, right? It's not like Eddie Rose had a big change of pace through the center of the corner. That was pretty natural from Rose through the center, and, well, he just got ran over.
Yeah, just a simple lift would have probably prevented that whole situation, but that's not what happened, and here we are on caution number 5.
I mean, hey, you're coming down to the end of the race. I guess you expect a couple bruises and bumps along the way, especially whenever you have a late race restart like we're getting ready to have, probably in 3 laps.
Yeah, maybe not for P8 or so, wherever those guys were battling it out at, but I think a little give and take would have been warranted there.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
But here we are, caution number 5, lap 73 of 90. We had 2 drivers opt not to pit on that pit cycle right there. James Holzer and Mitchell Lancaster are going to start on your front row, with your first fresh tires being in 3rd, Justin Smith and Cruz Caudell. So this is going to be
Holzer. This is a tough one for him.
Yeah, this is going to be a very, very tough fight for Holzer and Lancaster with those older tires.
14 lap older tires. Now there are some caution laps woven in there, so it's not quite as bad. I'm going to try to look at Holzer's last few laps to kind of get a look at it. Let's see, 2, 6. Well, it looks like about 7 or 8 of those are caution laps. So 7 lap older tires for Holzer than the rest of the field. That's a pretty decent chunk. It's going to be tough for him to hang on to the lead. He's just got to hope that, I don't know, maybe he gets another caution to equalize the tires between everybody on a heat cycle.
I got to be honest with you, Austin. I think it's going to be impossible for him to hold him off without constant yellows off the, right off the start, because I mean, even 7 laps of fresher tires here, it means a whole lot.
Well, he's got the track position, and he's put a car on his outside on older tires as well, but slightly newer than his own. Mitchell Lancaster on 9 lap old tires to everybody that just pitted 2. So again, factor in the laps under caution, probably 3 lap green flag laps on Lancaster's tires. Probably about 7 to 8 for James Holzer, and 0 for everybody else in the field. Gonna have to wait and see on this restart how far or how much of a fight Lancaster puts up for the 2nd place spot.
I think what also is going to work in Holzer's favor, at least initially, is that the 2 cars directly in line behind him both have Team Conti on the hood. So maybe a little bit of give and take for the first lap or 2 before they start to drive by him.
Yeah, maybe for the first lap or 2, but they're going to, if they've got the power, they're going to move right on by James as soon as they get clear. And with they kind of got to pick on their outside with Lancaster being on a little bit older tires too. So it's anybody's best guess up front. Could be James Holzer, who's leading us down to the green
Oh,
flag.
big
Waits
checkup.
really late in the restart zone for Holzer. Back under the green flag, and that puts Lancaster firmly in P2. It looks like he might clear Smith down into 1.
There was a huge checkup on that bottom lane trying to time it out. Really cost the 64 car. He lost 5 spots right there.
Oh, this is perfect for James Holzer. They're side by side for 3rd. Lancaster single file for 2nd until Smith drives it in deep into turn number 3. Takes over the 3rd place position, puts himself side by side for 2nd. Lancaster not willing to give it up on the outside. Everybody working through the quad oval further back. But side by side for the 2nd place position, Justin Smith, I'm sorry. He's going to be able to take that spot, move himself up into 2nd easily. Now he's just got to run down his teammate.
Yeah, Justin with a great move there off of turns 2 to clear the 10 of Lancaster as the 20 of Cruz Caudell gets into the wall. Big wreck.
Oh, they're still wrecking down the front straightaway. Finally, the yellow flag is out. Brandon Schmidt getting sent around. Oh, they were not willing to give up over that, 4th place position, and it all turned into a huge wreck coming out of turn number 4. Schmidt on the inside. Lancaster was not willing to lift. Schmidt not willing to lift, and they both end up getting junked, losing their rear ends, getting sent around and into the fence on the front straightaway. Not the way you want to battle for 4th place to end up.
No, I think that's going to be on Caudell there, coming up the track into the car above him.
Oh, Schmidt.
Or Schmidt, excuse me, sorry.
Yeah, he wasn't clear.
Yeah.
He was trying to clear him, but he wasn't clear. Peterson with some left front damage.
I think that's another 4 cars out of the race now.
Some more ARCA braking further back. Man, 10 is destroyed.
Saw the 24 get also destroyed in that wreck as well, so that's probably going to be day done for him. Well,
this is what Holzer needed. We're going to use this opportunity to look at the schedule for the upcoming week on GridVision. Got a heck of a week coming up at you guys. Tomorrow night, we got the Champion Power Equipment iRacing Series back at Charlotte. Can't wait to see those guys run around this 1.5 mile racetrack in the trucks. Then on Wednesday night, we're going to go back to North Wilkesboro Speedway for the Thunderclap iRacing Series. That's going to be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Thursday night, we got the Autism Speaks Auto Club Speedway 96. That's the High Slide Racing League right there on Thursday night, 8:20 p.m. Eastern. And then back here on Friday night for the Ryco Performance Friday Night Top Split. That's going to be for the NIS Open, baby. That's going to be 400 laps around the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Let's just hope and pray the cautions are not this long.
well, I wouldn't hold your breath on that one there, Austin.
I need an update. I need the patch now. I'm gonna be crying on Friday night on broadcast. Just in case everybody wants to see a grown man cry, you can tune in on Friday night.
Well, we got top 8 cars choosing to stay out there. Everybody else is in pit road. James Holzer, still your leader after all that, on a little bit older tires. 7 laps, I think, is what it was. And yeah, I think that was best case scenario for him. We're going to dwindle down a few laps. We're currently working lap 79. Probably going to go back green on lap 82, 81, 82, one of those. So it'll be about an 8 to 9 lap shootout for James Holzer, barring any more cautions. So,
And one more caution, I think he has this thing wrapped up, right?
I'd have to say it'd be tough to beat if they get one more caution and he's in the lead.
I just feel like I feel like these guys behind him need all 8 of those laps to be able to make it stick, or they need 4 or 5 to really build up that run to where they can make a move and make it stick, completely clear James Holzer. I feel like if we get a yellow flag and they have to do 2 restarts, it's just going to be really tough to get that kind of momentum.
I agree, but here's a little kicker here for you, Austin. His teammate Justin Smith is going to be starting outside on fresher tires. So if he can get a good jump and stay side by side with Holzer going into turns 1 and 2, it might be day over for Holzer as far as winning this race.
Yeah, he could have a good enough run off of turn 2 with the newer tires to wrap it around the outside. I mean, it very well could happen if he could get a good enough jump. It's just the lighter turning radius around 1 and 2, and if you're not at full speed, it helps the car on the inside so much. But with that
Yeah.
grip from the newer tires, I mean, Justin Smith could be right there.
We'll have to wait and see. Drivers are antsy, ready to go. They're getting double fouled already. Hopefully the lights on the pace car go out this time by.
Yeah, I think they're just as tired of the iRacing pacing shenanigans as we are. I'm telling you, this is going to make the Coke 600 long this week. Holy cow.
Yeah, I don't envy you there, buddy. I'll be happily out of town for that race.
Well, and I was planning on racing it too at some point. I don't know if I can handle 2 of them.
I also am planning on racing one. Unfortunately, the only one I think I might even be close to be able to doing is tomorrow night's fixed race. So, otherwise, I got
there one
too
on
busy a
Tuesday?
schedule. I believe so.
I didn't think there was an IS on Tuesday. I might be wrong. I've been away for a while.
Well,
I come
maybe
back and I
not-
miss things.
Maybe not NIS, but one of the Coke 600
the A
races.
opens. Well, that is the NIS, the 400 lap stuff.
Gotcha.
Fixes Wednesday is the first one too.
Is it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Either way, we got a little bit more racing here. We got what, 9 laps to go whenever we go green flag?
Let's see, the lights out. Yep, lights
Yep.
are out. Lap 81. Yeah, we're
Not too many cars left on the racetrack.
gonna have us a 8-lap shootout here for the finish.
I think 13 cars still on the lead lap. I mean, it's the pack has dwindled here tonight. Not even that long of a race, but man, that one incident down the back straightaway really took out some cars.
Yeah, it had some really big crashes with multi-car crashes. Holzer weaving his car back and forth, trying to generate some heat so he can get the best possible launch that he can.
Is this the last restart?
I'm gonna say no.
Oh man, no faith.
Well,
I'm
from
hoping for faith.
What I've seen tonight, yeah, I have little faith.
We're hoping for green here on GridVision. James Holzer in the race lead. The sun's starting to peek out of the clouds coming out of turn number 4. Hopefully that's a good omen that we're about to get this thing down to the checkered flag. On this restart, James Holzer back to the gas, easily to the lead, and Cruz Cadell fighting his teammate on the inside. Velasquez gets also to the inside of his teammate. They're 3 wide entering turn number 1 for the 3rd place spot. Cruz Cadell through to 2nd. Justin Smith with a terrible restart back to 5th.
Todd Peterson on the high side, back in the back, 3 wide on top, 4 wide on top. And he's going to clear 3 cars going into turn 3.
Oh,
What a
I thought
move
Todd
from
Peterson
Todd
was about to
Peterson.
get wrecked. He got hooked.
Hold
Who's
on,
that
sir.
sideways coming through
46.
3 and 4? Eddie Rose able to hang on to it. Good save from Rose, and they're still racing hard up front. Cruz Cadell's trying to run down James Holzer. Justin Smith's trying to recover, but he's found the apron through 1 and 2. No, that's Velasquez on the inside. Justin Smith through to 3rd.
And this is working in Holzer's favor completely with Cruz Cadell in P2, Justin Smith in P3, trying to chase down the leader. Got 6 laps to go here at the start finish. Everybody single file.
They both have newer tires. Is it going to matter? Are those newer tires going to pull Cruz Cadell and Justin Smith up to the back bumper of James Holzer, or has Holzer got this thing won?
Well, from what I'm seeing right now, I think Holzer's got it with those 7-lap older tires. Honestly, I'm shocked to see it, but it's working for him.
He's looking pretty good at the front. 6 laps to go. Taking lap number 85 this time by Cadell, trying something different all the way out to the outside. Going to lose him a lot of time through the center of the corner. Justin Smith almost got to him.
Yeah,
Almost took him too wide.
I think if you wanted to use the high line, you needed to wait till 3 and 4 to get that momentum. 1 and 2, you don't get as much momentum as you do in 3 and 4. But Justin Smith underneath Cadell for P2. Side by side, door to door at the line. Who's going to get it coming into turns 1 and 2?
Yeah, Cadell struggling on the outside, trying to find a little bit of speed to be able to challenge James Holzer. But it's not meant to be. Justin Smith clears him back for a second after the terrible restart out of Smith. falling back to 5th. He's clawed his way back up to the 2nd place spot. Todd Peterson, he's looking for more back and forth.
Peterson with a heck of a run since the drop of the green flag. Caudell into the wall, almost took out Peterson.
That was a pretty heavy hit.
That was a pretty heavy hit. Peterson all over the back bumper of Justin Smith.
3.5 to go down the back straightaway. James Holzer with a 6/10 of a second gap to his teammate Justin Smith. Right behind him, he's got Todd Peterson, who is looking for more. He's not content with 3rd. Looking around the outside of 3 and 4. Not meant to be this time.
Well, they both tagged the wall. Justin a little bit harder. Peterson's got the run going down to the inside into the turn 1.
Todd Peterson looking for the 2nd place position down to the inside. Drives it in deep. Slides up off the corner. He's got him clear. Todd Peterson up to P2. Where did you come from?
Got 2 laps to go. Todd Peterson half a second behind Holzer. Does he have anything for the win of this race?
Todd Peterson's got the freshest tires in the field. He's got 9 laps on his. James Holzer has 30.
I'm looking at that leaderboard. That gap keeps coming down. Peterson's getting there.
What in the world? Where has Todd Peterson come from? 2 laps to go, coming around 1 and 2. He's flying. He might get there.
Two-tenths of a second entering turn 3. Look at the gap on track just dwindling. He's side by side off of turn 4.
Coming to the white flag, Todd Peterson at the white. He's got the lead. James Holzer got tight through 3 and 4, and it's given the 17 an opportunity. And Todd takes it down into turns 1 and 2. Todd Peterson from absolutely nowhere. I believe he was involved in the last incident. Comes down, takes 4 tires, and drives himself up to the front of the field. In the last 8-lap dash to the finish, Todd Peterson has driven that number 17 to the front. James Holzer's just having to sit there scratching his head coming off of turn number 4 because it's going to be Todd Peterson to win the Monday night B-Open race in the Ryco Performance Monday night top split. Wow, Todd Peterson, what a win. From absolutely nowhere.
That was Dale Earnhardt-esque style driving right there, from P11 at the drop of the green flag to winning the race.
Unbelievable. The tires came in handy for Todd at the end. I cannot believe that. I mean, he ran down James Holzer from nowhere. Holzer just got tight out of 3 and 4 and threw the race away, and Todd Peterson came through and swiped it from under his nose. What a finish for Todd. We're going to take our final commercial break of the evening. Whenever we come back, we're going to run through the results and hope to get a couple interviews. Stay with us. Welcome back to the finish of tonight's Ryco Performance Monday Night Top Split. Todd Peterson takes the win in the B-Open. James Holzer second, Justin Smith third, Charles Velasquez Jr. finishes 4th with Brandon Burkhart in 5th, Chad Sullivan 6th, Cruz Cadell 7th, Jesse Prees in 8th, Eddie Rose 9th, and Chris Mawson rounds out the top 10.
And 3 more cars to finish out the rest of the field that finished the race, with Kevin Nunn, Brandon Minto, and Chris Frost to finish your top 13 completed drivers. Everybody else involved in wrecks, starting with Brandon Schmidt, Mitchell Lancaster, Richie Stanaway, Michael Whitaker, Derek Garrison, Jared Mogard, Joe Dooch, Clinton Ingle, Matt Forcappa, Blair Wickett, Matt White, and Justin Tank, rounding out your top 25 field.
That is going to round out our final race results. We're going to bring up James Holzer, our second place finisher here tonight. James, we had this thing wrote off. We had you as the race winner with about 5-6 laps to go. We were like, okay, nobody's running him down. He's good. And then Todd Peterson on brand spanking new tires happens to run you down from 10th on the restart. Well, I mean, what was running through your mind whenever you see him pulling up out of absolutely nowhere?
Yeah, I honestly had no clue who it was. I thought it was a lap car or something, just because I looked and Justin was right behind me pretty much. And yeah, he came out of nowhere, and I was way too tight to push as hard as I wanted to push there at the end. But that was quite the eventful race from my cockpit, to say the least.
Yeah, it seems like y'all had really good speed. You got caught up in that incident right off the beginning, kind of put yourself behind, having to get some damage repair. But fought yourself back up into the top 3 before I believe that caution flag came out to end that long green flag run. Maybe it was just 4th, but you fought yourself back up to the front of the field, got the caution, and really asserted your dominance towards the front. Just kind of walk us through your race and how you came back from lap 1 misery.
Yeah, kind of got caught up in that. Matt really entered turn 3 slow, and I was just planning on riding, just kind of logging laps, getting the feel for the set in the B open weather, but he really checked up and I didn't want to run him over, so I just popped up to the 3rd lane, and I don't know if he got tight or what, but looking back at it, it looked like he did, as he was a little bit further off the guy on the bottom than he probably thought he was, and got a little bit of damage there, but it was all fixable. And then we came in and realized that I left my pit stop adjustments in, so I was dying loose that long run that we had. My right rear was absolutely cooked. It was doing everything I could to stay right where I was at. And Todd had really good long run pace throughout that run. But yeah, that slew of cautions kind of threw us for a loop at the end with not that many cars being on the lead lap. I was talking about pitting, and because Justin and I and a few of the Team Conti guys were in Discord, and we were like, yeah, we're all going to pit. And then I was like, I thought too many people would stay out, so I decided to stay out, and nobody else stayed out other than one other car, but fired off good, went PB, and then just the slew of cautions really tightened the car up under the cycle, and I drove really hard because I knew I was going to have to stay in front of Justin because he is badass in this car, but did enough to hold him off, but did not have Todd Peterson on my card there coming up through the field. But kudos to him, he had good pace all race and capitalized on strategy, taking tires and slicing and dicing there to get the win.
Well, James, still big congratulations on P2. You really showed your pace all night tonight and put on a good show for us coming through the field. So we appreciate you giving us something to watch through the nitty and gritty long green flag run. Who do you have to thank at the end of this one?
Yeah, got to thank Nick Ottinger and everybody over at Team Conti for building a bad fast set every week. Just had the cautions kind of not fall our way and had to fight up through the field, but we had 1 through 6 locked up there for a good portion of that middle to end part of the race, and a couple of our guys just kind of got caught up in the incidents there at the end. But always got to thank Team Conti and everybody on the team for being good and bringing good sets to the track every week. Got to thank the broadcast for putting this on. Always good to be able to go back and watch these races and take some notes to see maybe what others are doing better, or maybe stuff that we can improve on. So thanks to you guys for doing that, and yeah, that's about it. Thanks, guys.
Well, we appreciate you, James, and congratulations on your second place finish. Looking forward to seeing what you can do next weekend as well.
Yep, thank you, Austin. Appreciate it.
Alrighty, that was our second place finisher, James Holzer. Common occurrence up here in the GridVision booth, finishing up in the top 3 time and time again in the B Open series. Rounding out B Open tonight with a second place finish. But that's going to do it for us here at GridVision tonight. I've been Austin Edstrom, standing alongside Mark Kalin all night, and Austin Derbyshire has been behind the production booth. We'd like to thank you all for coming out and watching, and we'll see you next time on The Grid.